all the latest one, and nothing stopped them.
Now, well, they've had some transfers come in, obviously, but UConn now has established a tradition and a culture of playing to the level that they've been able to play at. They still got guys that were there. They didn't have, for them, what you described, Zach, there was a down year for them last year, those stats that they had. They're coming off a couple back-to-back NCAA championship years. Last year, a down year, which most teams would be really happy to have. But they've got guys that are holdovers still from those championship teams, and they've continued to put pieces around them that are able to complement them. And some of these guys like Terrace Reed have been there not only through some of the championship team, but also learning from the kind of players that they have at UConn. You look at their center transition. Adamo Sanogo was the player of the year in the Big East. Then you had Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan ended up being one of the top draft choices in the NBA. Samson Johnson came in and learned under Donovan Clingan. And then Terrace Reed Jr. comes in, learns under Samson Johnson. This year it's Terrace Reed Jr.'s turn, and they've got a freshman here coming in. Terrace Reed missed some games. They've got a freshman coming in, Eric Rebu, that, if I'm pronouncing it right, how are you saying it? That's how I had it, but then I don't know the part.
Eric
Ryba.
Yeah.
Has some great games as Terrace Reed's been out. So, as always, they've got a lot of depth. They picked up some great players in the transfer portal. They've got some good young players who really haven't been able to find a lot of time on the floor with the veteran lineup that they have. But, anytime that they come against this UConn team coached by Dan Hurley, you know that they're going to be playing good basketball. And they're never looking past you. They play every game in the moment of that game. They're not looking for, big games coming up ahead of this.
All right, so you just talked about all the things that make UConn such a formidable opponent. What can you do if you're the Blue Demons? How do you begin to approach it just to give yourself a chance?
Well, what we've seen as we've watched all these games this year is that sometimes they come out and play great basketball, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes just the energy level's there, the intensity on the defensive end is there, and that sparks both sides of the floor. Obviously, you need that. Obviously, you need to feel that you have a chance to win this game. If you're beaten psychologically before the game even starts, obviously your chances are slim. But, UConn can't be playing their best basketball. We won't have a chance to beat them. We need to play hard. We need to not give them anything easy. We have to hope they're missing some shots and make some mistakes. And we have to just believe that we can do it and just keep playing for hard for 40 minutes.
Here's the history that the Blue Demons are facing against UConn here today. And to be fair, most of the guys on the current DePaul squad have nothing to do with this history. But this is game number 23 in the all-time series between DePaul and UConn. Connecticut leads it 21-1, including 20 straight wins. The first meeting between the two took place in the 2004 NCAA tournament in Buffalo. 72-55 UConn win. Dave, that remains the last time the Blue Demons played in the Big Dance. DePaul's only win in the series came in 2007 in Rosemont, 66-58. Draylon Burns led the way with 26 points. So the Demons, since they joined the Big East Conference, have only 2 wins against top 5 opponents. And again, it's really tough to do. They knocked off Kansas back in 2006 in Rosemont, as big of a victory as the Blue Demons have had since they joined the Big East, although Kansas, again, not part of the conference. And then they knocked off Butler back in 2020 as the Bulldogs were ranked in the top 5, then coached with current DePaul assistant Lavelle Jordan.
Yeah, well, you don't get the opportunity to knock off a top 10, top 5 team. There's only 5 of them in the country. Fortunately or unfortunately for the Blue Demons, a lot of them have been in the Big East. Look at the dominance the Big East has had on a national level with championships by this UConn team and the Villanova team over the last decade. So the Big East has been strong and healthy. The people the teams that have led this conference over the last decade or so are good. And then you've got teams like Rick Pitino, St. John's are coming up. So there's always so many strong teams in this conference.
A few moments ago, I had a chance to sit with DePaul head coach Chris Holtman, and we talked about the daunting challenge that number 5 UConn is putting on the Blue Demons.
Sure did. That's the case to start Big East play. But you know what, Zach? It's the case every night. I think what you see in this league is there are certainly right now UConn has showed that they are the best of the best right now in this league, the way they performed in the non-conference. But we look forward to this opportunity. We look forward to doing it at home. You obviously play every team in this league twice, and we don't run from any challenge. We're looking forward to the challenge.
Tactically, what's the challenge?
They are just a really complete team. When you look at their offensive numbers, top 20 in the country in offensive efficiency. Defensive numbers is really the difference this year, Zach. Last year, they were in the 70s in defensive efficiency. This year, they're 4th in the country. That's really been the difference for them this year. They rebound the ball well. They shoot it exceptionally well. They've got a lot of good players returning, and the addition of a couple McDonald's All-Americans.
So when you're putting together a game plan to attack them, where can you find an opportunity to score points against a defense that's that good?
I think it's going to be probably as critical of a point as anything is we've got to be able to score the ball tonight, and we've got to be able to deal with maybe some pockets of frustrating play where we don't score the ball. And our defense has to be able to sustain us through those. We've got to be able to turn them over some and get out in transition. We've got to be able to get some stops and get out in transition. We've got to create some extra points on the glass. And then we've got to, attack some matchups if there's some matchups advantage. That's really what we have to do in order to give ourselves. And then you cannot relent on the defensive end at all. And that's where they make it so difficult.
Defensively for DePaul, you talked about it. Do you have to apply different defenses at different moments of the game in order to give yourself a chance and try to confuse them?
This particular game, we will do a couple things a little bit differently, but what has made our defense improve this year and over the last couple of weeks has been doing certain things well. We need great ball pressure. We need great communication, and we've got to finish plays with first-time rebounds. We've got to do that at a really high level today, Zach. Are we going to do a few things that maybe people who've watched us haven't seen a little bit different? We are. We'll utilize some of that today, but the reality is what's most important is going to be us kind of doing what we do and doing it at a high level.
How are you from a health standpoint? And obviously they're missing a big weapon in solo ball.
Yeah, it's been interesting because they've played a couple games without some of their better players and played exceptionally well. Terrace Reed was out for a little while. Their big guy to start the season, as well as their freshman McDonald's All-American guard. So they're kind of used to playing without a guy. We're down Teo. Brandon is going to give it a go again. I would say Brandon's Macklin's about 70%. Caleb Banks has been dealing with some flu. We were going to list him as questionable, but he is going to give it a go. So we'll see how he is able to do given some of the illness he's had.
Best of luck.
Okay, thanks, Zach.
I'm going to guess he's going to be pretty fired up to take on the number 5 team in the country, coming off his best game, which was a double-double last time out against number 22 St. John's, when Caleb Banks had 19 points and 10 rebounds in the loss against the Johnnies. When you're playing well, you find a way to dig down deep, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, and a lot of times, I think most people can remember that go back that far. Michael Jordan's famous flu game. Mm-hmm. I've seen over the course of my career or watching him be involved that a lot of times being sick kind of helps you focus your mind into just focusing on the game. You put some of the distractions out of your mind, and you see some guys have some great games when they're not feeling at their best.
So we're getting set for DePaul and number 5 UConn here at Wintrust Arena, the Big East home opener for the Blue Demons. Let's get right to the starting lineups. We'll start with Chris Holtman's Demons, a record of 8-4 overall, 0-1 in conference play after losing last week on the road at St. John's. A 3-man backcourt for the Blue Demons featuring Layden Blocker, the transfer from Arkansas in his second year with DePaul, 6'2" junior from Little Rock, who averages 11 points per game, 4 assists per contest, and 2 steals per game but had a rough one last time out, just 4 points at St. John's. C.J. Gunn is the Demons' leading scorer, averaging more than 14 points per game. He had 15 in the loss to the Johnnies last week. 6'7" senior from Indianapolis, a transfer from Indiana in his second year with DePaul. The third man in the backcourt is a transfer from Colorado by the name of R.J. Smith, 6'3", 195-pound redshirt junior from Chino, California, who is impressive. He is a guy that had 13 points against St. John's, probably the most natural floor leader that the Blue Demons have. And because Brandon Macklin is slowly coming back from that shoulder injury, Smith is in the starting lineup. Up front for the Blue Demons, Caleb Banks. We talked about the 6'8" transfer from Tulane, who had 19 points, 10 rebounds against St. John's. He's averaging 9 points per game and nearly 3.5 rebounds per contest, and shooting it at a 44% clip from behind the arc. Manning the middle for DePaul is N.J. Benson, 6'8", 235-pound senior from Mount Vernon, Illinois. He averages more than 11 points per game, 6.5 rebounds. Transferred from Missouri State in his second season with the Demons. For Dan Hurley's Connecticut Huskies, UConn comes in with a record of 11-1, 1-0 in Big East play after beating Butler last Tuesday. The fifth-ranked Huskies, without their leading scorer today, Solo Ball out with a wrist injury. He averages nearly 15.5 points per game. So the starting lineup features a two-man backcourt of Silas Demery Jr., a 6'4" junior transfer from Georgia, who averages 9 points per game and nearly 6 assists per contest. He's second in the Big East in assists, 4.5 rebounds per game, and nearly 2 steals per contest. He's joined in the backcourt by Braylon Mullins, a 6'6", 200-pound freshman, one of those McDonald's All-Americans that Chris Holtman talked about in the pregame show. Mullins just 6 games this year because of a back injury. He averages 9.5 points per game, but he was a top 15 recruit. Up front for UConn, Terrace Reed Jr., the center that Dave talked about, 6'11" senior from St. Louis. He averages more than 14.5 points per game, 7 rebounds per contest, preseason All Big East first team. He's joined in the front court by Alex Caravan, a 6'8" redshirt junior from Southborough, Massachusetts, preseason All Big East first team. He averages 13 points per game and 5+ rebounds per contest. And into the starting lineup with ball out, Jalen Stewart, 6'7" junior from Seattle, who averages a little more than 6 points per game and just about 4 rebounds per contest. The officials this afternoon, Lamar Simpson, Clarence Armstrong, and Yvonne Burrows. Blue Demons come out wearing their traditional home white uniforms with royal blue lettering and numerals outlined in scarlet, horizontal blue and red stripes on the sides of the jerseys and the shorts. UConn wearing dark blue road uniforms, white numerals and lettering outlined in red. Benson will jump tip with Reed. And Yvonne Burrows works his way to center court. The ball is up in the air, and UConn controls the tip, moving from left to right here at Wintrust Arena from our vantage point right near the DePaul bench. The Big East home opener for the Blue Demons. DePaul comes out playing man-to-man, passing on the far sideline, tapped out of bounds by C.J. Gunn. It remains UConn ball with 20 to shoot. 12 seconds gone by here in the opening half. DePaul and number 5 UConn underway. Caravan triggers in, feeds Stewart near the midcourt stripe, off to the right. Now between the rings, it's Stewart working against Banks. Man-to-man defense by the Blue Demons. Demery has it off to the right in three-point territory, uses a screen, pops a top key 3, and misses. At the back of the rim, no good. Rebound taken down by Smith. Demons flying to the front court. Smith drives right, angle cut off by Mullins, so he works it up high to blocker. 3-point range to the right. Chris Holtman talked about finding offense here today being such a big key. Bounce pass inside, right of the lane, mid-post. It's Gunn. Backing in, turns. Fall-away jump shot from the right elbow, no good. And Caravan the rebound for UConn. Nearly a minute gone by. DePaul and UConn scoreless, and we've got a foul on the near sideline. Demery and Gunn collided. The foul called on CJ.
CJ Gunn did a nice job of being in the right place. They ran right into him, and he didn't have his feet set. Other than that, he was playing the play well. I'm sure they had that coach to not let that Connecticut guy come off that screen. He just didn't set his feet.
1 minute gone by here in the opening half. DePaul and UConn scoreless. Huskies with the basketball. Reed has it, head of the key. Hands off to Demery, right of the circle. Puts it on the floor. Drives, hop step in the paint. Kick out left side. 3 on the way for Stewart. And it goes in and out. Rebound, NJ Benson. Here come the Demons. Across the line, right to left. RJ Smith down the left sideline with a right-handed dribble. Spins to the top of the key. Now right of the circle. It's blocker checked by Mullins. Off to the right. Behind the arc, the big man Banks. Hands to Benson, the center head of the circle. Now Smith has it at the free throw line. Hops up the paint floor with the right hand. Short, and a foul's been called.
Body contact on the shot. They're going to call that on Mullins. I saw the contact when he went up. They waited on the whistle. If that shot had gone in, I don't think he would have blown the whistle. But you saw they bounced him off balance a little bit as he went up in the lane there. Shot didn't foul. They waited on it and then called the foul.
Nearly 90 seconds gone by. DePaul and UConn scoreless. Smith puts up the free throw and misses. Rimmed out. So we remain scoreless here at Wintrust Arena. The Blue Demons Big East opener. Demons 0-1 in conference play after losing on the road at number 22 St. John's last Tuesday. Smith bends the knees, flicks the right wrist, and puts home the free throw. So DePaul strikes first. A 1-0 lead over UConn. Nearly 90 seconds gone by. Here come the Huskies into the front court. Demery working against blocker at the head of the key. Demery backs it out near the midcourt stripe straight away, staying on the big Blue Demon logo at center court. Hard dribble with the right hand, bounce past Caravan. 3-point range to the right, hand in the face from C.J. Gunn. Cross-court pass, Mullen shakes the shoulders, drives left baseline, pull up 2 is no good. At the back of the rim, ball batted up in the air, picked up by Gunn, ball knocked away. UConn comes up with it. Caravan off to the right, up high Stewart, pass to the left, taken away by Leighton Blocker. He flies into the front court, alley-oop, jam! NJ Benson flying in from the left baseline and the foul. Defense leading the impressive offense for DePaul. They've got a 3-0 lead over UConn. Nearly 2 minutes gone by.
That's textbook what the Demons do. We talked before the game about what they're going to need to do to win. Play good defense, force some bad shots, turnovers, and get in something in transition. Great job on that execution right there.
Benson puts up the free throw, and
CJ Gunn lane violation
on the Demons. So
CJ Gunn been making some bonehead mistakes recently. Shot clock violations and just general following the rules.
DePaul 3, number 5 UConn nothing. 2 minutes gone by. The Huskies have yet to get on the board. Head of the key, it's Demery. Veers off to the left of the circle, being hounded by Gunn. Now drives past him, hops up in the paint, forward to the right hand shot, no rebound, tapped up and in by Reed, who came flying in from the left side.
Yeah, that was an issue there. Benson had to come over and help on the dribble drive, which left Reed open to get that offensive rebound.
DePaul with a 3-2 lead over UConn. 2.5 minutes gone by. Demons work the ball around the perimeter. Between the circles, it's Leighton Blocker wearing a white headband with clear rim glasses. At the free throw line, it's Gunn. Driving left, has the ball poked away, picks it up along the near sideline. Now it rolls off his hands, out of bounds. Last touch by DePaul.
C.J. Gunn is going to be heading to the bench here. Got to get his mind into the game.
Brandon Macklin enters for the first time. He's got his right shoulder kind of wrapped. That's the shoulder that cost him 3 games earlier this season, but he's back playing at 70% according to head coach Chris Holtman. 3-2 the score. Demons with the lead. Nearly 3 minutes gone by over number 5 UConn. At the head of the circle, it's the Huskies. Demery off to the right. Caravan whips a pass inside. Reed turnaround hook with a left hand. Back rim doesn't go, and a one-handed rebound for NJ Benson. Quick outlet blocker down the left sideline. Hop step in the paint. Lost the ball. It rolls out of bounds. Last touch by the Blue Demons along the baseline. It'll be UConn basketball.
Went off Blocker's knee there. They got a hand on him as he went to the hole. They knocked the ball loose. Went right off of Blocker's knee.
3 minutes have ticked off the clock. DePaul 3, number 5 UConn 2. Huskies with a basketball. Demery has it off to the right 3-point range. Checked by Macklin. And a foul called on the guy affectionately known as BMAC at DePaul.
Same play there where C.J. Gunn got called on the foul. Same defensive philosophy. They're trying to stop UConn from coming off that screen and swinging the ball to the other side of the floor, but they're picking up the foul.
Mullins to trigger in for UConn front court along the near sideline. 20 to shoot for the Huskies. Near the midcourt stripe straight away, Demery uses a screen, bounces right, uses another screen, spins to the top of the key. Left of the circle, it's Reed, holds the ball by his left hip, now over his head, looking for a cutter, dribbles right, bounce pass, right of the lane on the low post. Caravan turns by Smith, layup, no good, but he got fouled on the play.
Goaltending call.
Oh, no, he was not fouled, so goaltending is the call. On DePaul, count the basket. UConn takes a 4-3 lead over DePaul, 16:26 remaining here in the first.
good patience by UConn on that possession and wait till they got a mismatch with Caravan on the post against a smaller guard.
All right, so here comes Layden Blocker bringing it up right to left for the Blue Demons across the timeline, immediately greeted by Demery. He uses a screen, spins left of the circle. Head of the key, it's Banks. Bounce pass off to the right. Smith, top of the circle, Macklin. Now NJ Benson at the head of the key. Blocker off to the left, three-point territory. 10 to shoot for DePaul. Macklin, left wing behind the arc. Hesitation dribble with the right hand. 5 to shoot for DePaul. Banks has it off to the right, shakes the shoulders, drives, hangs in the air, wild baseline floater, doesn't go. And the rebound taken down by Caravan into the hands of Demery for UConn. Now Jaden Ross fires up a right side three. That's no good. Rebound Reed, and an over the back foul called on UConn.
Yeah, Reed picks up that foul. You saw that they knocked Caleb Banks into the first row there, picked up the offensive foul.
Demons on a scoring drought of 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But, Dave, we've got a tight ball game here early through the first media timeout, 15:47 remaining. Half number 1, number 5, UConn 4, DePaul 3. Zach Zaidman, Dave Corzine with you courtside here at Wintrust Arena. The Silver Fox, John Kerry, blasting us through the speakers of your radio as well as all of your smart devices. Dave, it's time now for the Pepsi Who's Hot segment. Who's hot for the Blue Demons?
With Caleb Banks coming off that big game, he had a career game double-double with 18 points, 10 rebounds last time out in the opener for the Big East. Big East level of competition now is continuing to rise up, and obviously we're hitting two of the best here with St. John's and the UConn. So we're starting out at the top of the mountain, and as long as we continue to play hard here, if we're competitive against teams here, St. John's and UConn, I think we'll be able to do well the rest of the season through the conference. But right now, coming out early conference play, Caleb Banks has been hot.
Pepsi Zero Sugar. It's bold, refreshing, and made for moments like this because game day deserves Pepsi. All right, now that you've had a little bit of time to kind of see the game unfold a bit, see what DePaul is looking to do, what stands out to you?
Well, we talked before the game about DePaul needing to be very intentional defensively and really be gritty on the defensive end. We've seen that where they've been able to get the stops. Right now, UConn 2 out of 8. Solo ball not being their leading scorer. UConn having to adjust to not having their leading scorer on the floor. They talked a little bit about UConn has missed individual players in this early part of the season where guys have not all been able to healthy every game. But so far, this is the first game without Solo ball. He's been their leading scorer. He's coming off a 26-point game. So, obviously, they're needing to make some adjustments, but they're needing to rely on their defense, which is playing just as well as it ever. You look at some of the UConn stats, defensive stats that are impressive. You also have to remember that they accumulated those stats against some of the top teams, all top-ranked teams in the country. So, they weren't playing like a lot of our conference teams, or a lot of big conference teams, play very soft pre-conference schedule. UConn didn't do that at all.
Yeah, they played 5 top 25 teams in non-conference play, and they enter action today with a record of 11-1, including 1-0 in the Big East. And yet, UConn ranked top 15 in nearly every major defensive category, including scoring defense, holding teams to under 62 points per game, defensive field goal percentage, 37%. That's overall 2s or 3s. And then from behind the arc, holding teams to 26% shooting in this era of college basketball where everyone lights it up from 3. Again,
level of competition. You watch a lot of these early season games where it's a 40-point blowout against they're accumulating those stats against some of the best teams in the country.
Back to live action. Demons with the basketball down 1 at home against number 5 UConn. 15:40 to go in the first. CJ Gunn off to the right. Macklin has it head of the key, left of the circle. Now it's RJ Smith. Shakes the shoulders. Benson at the free throw line. Drives right. Hangs in the air. Wild layup shot. No. Off the glass. He was pushed. They called nothing. UConn basketball at the head of the key now. It's Silas Demery Jr. Georgia transfer, gives to Mullins off to the right. Ball knocked away at midcourt now. It's picked up by Jaden Ross for UConn. Ross has it off to the left. Driving baseline under the basket. Pass knocked away. Stolen by Macklin along the near sideline. Into the hands of Blocker across the line down the left sideline. Hesitation dribble. He steps back, fires up a long 3, and knocks it down. DePaul takes the lead. Demons up 6-4 over number 5 UConn. 5 minutes gone by here in the opening half. Demery drives right, shovel toss now inside. It's Eric Ryba His shot blocked. Demons come up with a loose ball. Here comes Macklin. Bounce pass blocker. Left side three. The high archer won't go. It was short. Caravan the rebound for the Huskies. Flying into the front court. Left to right now. Ball taken away by Macklin at midcourt from Demery. Scoop by the right hand. Banks it home. High flying action here since coming out of the timeout. The Demons on top of number 5 UConn 8-4. Coming up on 14 minutes remaining here in half number 1.
Macklin's made a big difference since he's entered the game defensively.
Demery has it at the head of the key. Feeds Caravan off a curl. Top key three goes down.
That'll change the momentum.
Caravan knocks down the tray from the head of the circle, and it's DePaul 8, UConn 7. Under 14 minutes to go here in the first.
Their veteran guy with 2 NCAA championship rings knows how to settle down the crowd.
He's 103-23 his career at UConn. Impressive stuff from Caravan. Smith has it left of the circle, rolls inside the paint, kick out left corner.
Travel.
They call a travel on Smith, turnover to Paul.
Can't afford mistakes like that. You've got to play under control. That's why you watch all the best players, they're on balance all the time. They're never out of control where they're off balance and needing to find somebody to pass to.
13:45 to go, first half. DePaul on top of number 5 UConn 8-7. Huskies with the basketball. Malachi Smith, transfer from Dayton, brings it up across the line for UConn. He's at the head of the key, check by Macklin. Demons playing half-court man-to-man. Bouncing left. Now it's Ryba, pass to the middle. Ball taken away by Macklin. Out in front. Scoop by the right hand, banks it home. And the Demons extend the lead, now 10-7. Over the 5th-ranked Huskies, 13:23 to go. Boy, Macklin has made a huge difference.
Who is this Brandon Macklin fella?
He's a transfer from Radford in his first year with the Blue Demons. UConn basketball off to the right. It's Malachi Smith. Up high, he feeds Mullins. Now Ryba, the big center, has it right of the circle. Bounce pass to Smith, ball knocked away. Smith picks it up, ball knocked away out of his hands. It's loose under the basket. Hell ball called. The possession arrow pointing to Paul's way.
Guess who's down on the floor?
Macklin got into it underneath with Smith, and they've called a technical foul.
A double technical? Is it a double technical? Macklin is just too fired up.
I'm taking a look at the replay here, Dave. And Macklin and Smith were really fighting for that ball, like a fumble in football under the pile. So this second, third. We're waiting for the official announcement. I was not able to hear in my headset.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what they were saying.
So
looks like
a technical foul.
Nobody's shooting free throws.
A technical foul has been called on Malachi Smith of UConn.
But no free throw?
And no, they apparently the double technical was the call.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. It'll be DePaul basketball. Right to left across the line comes R.J. Smith. He veers off to the left in three-point territory. Demons up 10-7 over UConn. 12:45 to go here in the first. Smith drives left baseline, angle cut off, cross-court pass. Now right corner three. Cruz McClure knocks it down. And the Demons extend the lead. 13-7 over UConn. 12:35 remaining here in the first half.
Cruz McClure, the freshman, coming off an 0-for-3 game at St. John's, knocks down his first one.
Off to the right, it's Jaden Ross. Shakes the shoulders for UConn. Head of the key, Ryba. The 7-footer puts him on the floor. Hands off to Mullins, the freshman guard. He's between the rings. Checked by another freshman guard, Cruz McClure of the Blue Demons. Mullins drives left, spins right using a screen. Stops, whips a pass left corner. Ross up high. Smith fakes a three. Drives inside the paint, gives underneath, and Ryba is fouled on a layup attempt by Fabian Flores.
I tell you, that's some pretty good defense there by the Blue Demons, making them UConn use that whole clock.
So Ryba going to the line to shoot two for
CJ
UConn. Yes, CJ Gunn called on the foul.
Second.
So 12:08 remaining here in the first half. UConn at the line, and Ryba misses the first free throw. DePaul 13, UConn 7. UConn on a scoring drought of 2 minutes. Macklin back in the game. Gunn sits with the two personals.
Ryba filling in for Reed. Got 5 starts so far. She's shooting 64% from the floor.
Second free throw by Ryba, in and out. And UConn remains scoreless. 2+ minutes now. It's DePaul ball up 13-7 over UConn. 12 minutes to go in the first, and a steal by Smith. Drives left, hangs in the air, layup, no, put back, that won't go. Off the hands of Ryba, but UConn comes up with a loose ball. Caravan has it off to the left in three-point range. Now Smith, left of the circle, uses a Ryba screen, hesitation dribble. He'll fire up a deep shot from the left side, no good. Ryba fighting for the rebound, and a foul called, loose ball on Ryba. It'll be DePaul basketball after this official timeout. 11.5 minutes to go in the first. Blue Demons 13, number 5, UConn 7. Dave, this is no small thing. You've now gone through 2 media timeouts, and the Demons have the lead.
Yeah, you can talk about UConn losing their top scorer, solo ball, coming off a 26-point game in their opening Big East game against Butler, and he's not here tonight. But still, UConn, if you're number 5 team in the country, they have played shorthanded with some of their other top players not on the floor throughout the course of the season. And as we talked about, been able to knock out almost all of the top teams they played except Arizona. So solo ball not being here is a factor, but we've got guys that are out also, and they should be able to have the talent, the depth to still be in good shape to beat DePaul. But give DePaul credit. We talked about they needed to come out and play defense. They have done that, holding UConn to only 7 points in the first 8 minutes plus of this game.
Hey, Blue Demon fans, when it's game day, make Pepsi Zero Sugar your drink of choice. It's bold, refreshing, and made for moments like this because game day deserves Pepsi, proud partner of DePaul Athletics. So the Blue Demons have forced 5 UConn turnovers in the last 5 minutes of this game. UConn on a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes, and the Blue Demons have a 13-7 lead over the Huskies. UConn has won 20 straight games against DePaul. Repeat, 20 straight. The all-time series led by UConn 21-1. So anytime you find yourself with a lead against these Huskies, it's a big deal. Blue Demons come out playing well. And you know what? Maybe opening up, you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of our broadcast, maybe opening up against a top 25 ranked team in number 22 St. John's help this Blue Demons team when it comes to Big East play. And in non-conference play, Blue Demons played some tough teams in LSU and Georgia Tech and Northwestern. They went on the road and beat Wichita State. So it's not as though the Blue Demons come in with a shock and awe kind of deal. They know what it's like.
Now, they have played some good teams. Looking at the stat sheet earlier, look at this, Zach. Turnovers so far. The Demons in the first 8 minutes of the game have 7 turnovers. So play that out. That's an astronomical amount of turnovers if they continue that pace. And yet they have almost doubled UConn's score here with a 13-7 lead. And in spite of turning the ball over 7 times in the first 8 minutes of basketball. So they're shooting 5 for 9. They've hit 2 out of 3 of their 3-point shots. UConn right now 1 out of 4, but UConn shooting 3 out of 13, 23%. That won't get it done. So Demons continue to play their aggressive defense. And the second unit here is doing just as good a job as the first.
Right. It'll be DePaul basketball out of the timeout. 11:40 to go in the first. The Blue Demons leading number 5 UConn 13-7. Huskies applying full court pressure. Caleb Banks to trigger in. And he feeds Cruz McClure under the basket. Checked by Ross. Now a bounce pass to Smith, who's got it straight away, working on Demery. Uses a Banks screen and crosses the timeline at the top of the circle. Now he veers off to the right. Demery in his face. Bounce pass to the big man Flores, head of the circle. Hands off to McClure. Driving right side. Hangs in the air. Has the ball knocked away. It rolls out of bounds. Last touch by Reed of UConn. DePaul ball with 13 to shoot.
Yeah, Reed saw that coming. He blocked that with his elbows as he went to the basket there.
All right, so Smith will trigger in for DePaul. Front court baseline right. A pass knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Demery as Smith tried to hoist one over his head. Demery jumped up and whacked it out of bounds.
Smith unsure where to go with that inbounds pass. He was trying to bail it out there to Flores, but UConn, possession turned around, went back off Smith on it as it got deflected. A hit went off Smith.
Oh, man. So it'll be UConn basketball off the turnover. Malachi Smith brings it up across the line left to right. DePaul 13, UConn 7, coming up on 11 minutes to go in the first half. Off to the right, it's Demery, and now we've got a whistle, a foul away from the ball. Macklin hits the deck, and he was fouled by Caravan.
He's laying on that shoulder. He's up quickly. But
Macklin gets up. And he's okay. He's going to remain in the game. 5 on the floor. Nope. Leighton Blocker hops off the bench. Is he going to check in? As trusted trainer Mike Summer is taking a look at Brandon Macklin.
I think maybe Blocker was going to check in for Macklin, but Macklin's wanting to stay in the field.
The floor is under review.
All right, so you just heard official Lamar Simpson. Officials have been a little confusing here today in
How about
terms
that,
of.
though, for a speaker, instead of not being able to hear them? We're always trying to hear what the officials are saying. I like that. The whole arena could hear that one.
Yeah.
After review is just a common foul.
All right, so you heard official Lamar Simpson say that that's just a common foul. I'm not sure our engineer, John Carey, understands what's going on in our ears in between the time that the officials are looking at the replay monitor. But it is nice to have the holiday festive music in the background while the officials are reviewing. So anyway, foul on Caravan. It'll be DePaul basketball. Got to go the full length of the floor. 11-10 remaining in the first half. Demons 13, UConn 7. Demons working against full court pressure along the far sideline of the backcourt. It's Leighton Blocker, crosses the timeline against Demery, off to the right. Between the legs with the dribble, waits for a Flores screen, gets it, spins inside the paint, lefty layup, takes it home. Pretty move by Leighton Blocker as he got the blow by after the screen from Flores. Demons extend the lead up 15-7 over UConn. 10:45 to go here in half number one. DePaul on a 7-0 run. Off to the right, it's Smith. Checked by McClure. Holds the ball over his head. Caravan has it head of the key. Loops a pass inside to Reed. Now he's double teamed under the basket. Ball knocked away. Was a foul called?
No, it doesn't look like it. I think UConn ball inbounding here.
Yep, with 11 to shoot. Smith will trigger in. Last touch by the Blue Demons. 10:32 remaining in half number one. DePaul up 15-7 over number 5 UConn. Yeah, you heard right. Smith holds the ball, chest high, waits for a cutter. He's got to get it in play. Feeds Reed, three-point range to the right. Hands off to Demery along the right side. Hesitation dribble. Stops, pull up, jump, swatted out of bounds by Leighton Blocker along the right baseline. This sample size in the first half is as good as we've seen the Demons play all year long.
All year long. Further back than that.
Smith will trigger in. He feeds Ross in the right corner. Sidestep three is no good at the side of the rim. And the rebound taken down by Flores for DePaul. The scoring drought remains. Here's Macklin for three. Way off from the left
His
wing.
adrenaline was flowing.
UConn with the rebound. And here comes Demery across the line straight away. Feeds Smith between the rings. Driving right. Bounce pass inside. Reed rumbling to the hole. Layup. Count the basket and the foul.
Reed's pretty strong in there. We had 2 or 3 Demons holding his arms as he went up for the shot, and he managed to get it in.
So that ends a scoring drought of about 4 minutes for UConn as Reed goes to the line to try and complete the three-point play. Blocker called on the foul is first. Flores sits. Back in the game, Benson for the Blue Demons. 10:04 remaining. Half number one. DePaul 15, number 5, UConn 9. Now the Demons did take Creighton in a double overtime last year in the Big East tournament. As Reed misses the free throw, long rebound out to Mullins. And we've got a foul called on the Blue Demons along the far sideline. I think Cruz McClure picked it up. Yep, McClure whistled for his first personal. Macklin heads back to the bench to get a breather. He played well when he was out there for the Blue Demons. C.J. Gunn now in there for DePaul. 10:03 remaining. First half. DePaul 15, UConn 9. Huskies with the ball. Caravan left wing behind the arc. Uses a screen, spins to the top of the key. Now Demery has it off to the right. The freshman Mullins between the circles. Uses a screen, drives to the free throw line, now roaming left. Fall away jump shot from the baseline, no good. Ball loose, picked up by UConn underneath. It's a two-handed stuff for Jalen Stewart.
Damari with a huge pass. He got the offensive rebound, just came right down to him. Quick pass over to Stewart. Good look.
DePaul 15, UConn 11, 9.5 minutes to go here in the first. Demons with the basketball. Blocker's got it between the rings, bounces to the left. Checked by Mullins. Blocker backing in mid-post left of the lane. Up high, left of the circle. It's Benson. Back to Blocker. Left wing three. The high arcer won't go. Short, long rebound. Out to Reed. Into the hands of Demery for UConn. Across the line, straight away. Spins left of the circle. He'll pop for three and knock it down.
There's a 6-point switch right there.
Coming up on 9 minutes to go. First half, DePaul 15, number 5, UConn 14. Full court pressure by the Huskies. Cruz McClure will operate as the lead guard on this possession. Crosses the timeline off to the left, working against Mullins. Uses a screen from Benson as McClure roams to the head of the key. Now off to the right near the midcourt stripe. It's Blocker. Head of the key, Benson shakes the shoulders, spins left, working on Reed. Accelerates to the hole. Reverse layup. No good. Fight for the rebound. Gunn had it. It rolls out of bounds along the near sideline. They say it was last touch by Gunn. UConn ball. So UConn on a 7-0 run. R.J. Smith re-enters for the Blue Demons. Cruz McClure heads back to the bench. Blue Demons holding on to a 1-point lead. 8:42 remaining here in the first half. DePaul 15, number 5, UConn 14. Huskies on a 7-0 run. Silas Demery Jr., 6'4", junior transfer from Georgia. Brings it up across the line for the Huskies. He's got it head of the key. Here's off to the right, and we've got a reach-in foul on Layden Blocker.
Is that the 7th now? Yep, 17th foul on Blue Demons, so they will be going to the line. You can't go into the line here.
For 1-and-1.
Damari.
Second personal on Blocker, who remains in the game. So Silas Demery Jr. at the line. Here's the free throw. It's good. He'll get one more. Game tied at 15.
C.J. Gunn and Layden Blocker now both in the game here with 8:34 to go in the first half. They both have 2 fouls. So those are 2 key players that Coach Holtzman is deciding to leave on the floor here and try to continue to play basketball with as well as they've been playing in the first half.
Demery hits the second free throw, so UConn back on top, 16-15 over DePaul, 8:34 remaining, half number 1. The Huskies on a 9-0 run. Full court pressure by UConn as the Demons have it in the backcourt. Straight away, R.J. Smith turns to his left and looks at his head coach, Chris Holton. Crosses the timeline now off to the right, using a left-handed dribble. Checked by Mullins, uses a screen, spins left of the circle. Smith near the midcourt stripe. Off to the left behind the arc, it's Gunn. Shakes the shoulders, drives inside the paint. Now pulls it back, long 2 on the way, and he knocks it down. A fadeaway from outside, the free throw line. Quickly into the front court comes Demery down the right sideline. Diagonal pass up high, Mullins. Reed at the free throw line, whirls inside the paint. Couple of up fakes. Reverses it left side. Fall away jump shot with the right hand. No good. And finally they call the travel violation. You hear the DePaul bench jumping up and down. They were waiting for that call. Demons will have it after this official timeout. 7:55 to go first half. Again, another media timeout, and the Demons have the lead. 17-16 over number 5 UConn. And that's the way you have to play these games against these types of opponents. Just 4-minute intervals and just see how well you can do. And we've been through 3 of them now, and the Demons have the lead.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, UConn on a little bit of a roll right now. Demons are up 15-7, and now they're holding on to a 17-16 lead, but they're shooting the ball fairly well, 7 out of 15. They knocked down a couple threes. The difference has been the defense on UConn. UConn only shooting 6 out of 19, 31% from the field. So that's what the Demons have done well, although UConn out-rebounding DePaul 13-8. That was one of the areas that they talking to UConn staff before the game. They were talking about that rebounding would be one of their weaknesses. And then you look at their opening game against Butler, and they out-rebounded Butler 47-29. So it's hard to find a weakness with this UConn team.
Rush is proud to be the official health system and healthcare provider of DePaul Athletics, driven by discovery, innovation, and a deep responsibility for the health of our communities. Rush is a national leader in outstanding patient care, education, research, community partnerships, and empowering a new generation of healthcare providers. Visit rush.edu for more information and to find a location near you. Demons were up by as many as 8 points in this first half. 7:55 to go before halftime. Blue Demons still have the lead, 17-16 over number 5 UConn. There have been 4 lead changes this afternoon. The Demons have forced 8 UConn turnovers, and they've taken those 8 turnovers and turned them into 14 points. That's been a major storyline in this first half.
Defensively is the key to what has kept them in this game. The way they've been playing defense, especially, you point out, UConn's turned the ball over 8 times. The Demons have turned the ball over 8 times. So I don't know what that tells you. It's a sloppy game, or the defense has just been so well played on both sides of the court that they're forcing turnovers. But that's a lot of turnovers. Both teams approaching double-figure turnovers with almost 8 minutes to go in the first half. So I'm sure both coaches are in their huddles right now talking about needing to clean up those turnovers.
Zach Shedman, Dave Corzine with you courtside here at Wintrust Arena. Blue Demons are going to be off for a while following today's bowl game. They don't play another game. They're off for the Christmas holiday, and then they don't come back to action until visiting Villanova on New Year's Eve. And man, what a way to enter the holiday if you can pull off this monster upset against the 5th-ranked team in the country. Now, granted, UConn's playing without Solo Ball. Its leading scorer,
not a factor.
But come on, the Blue Demons have the lead, 17-16.
The party at all.
7:55 remaining here in the first half. And it'll be DePaul basketball. Blue Demons have to go the full length of the floor. The 5 on the court right now for DePaul. Banks and Benson up front, and a 3-man backcourt of Gunn, Blocker, and R.J. Smith. Banks will trigger in as UConn applies full court pressure. They got 3 guys in the backcourt. Banks holds the ball waist high. He's got to get it in play. Gets it to Smith along the near sideline in the corner in the backcourt. Centers it now to Blocker, who will bring it up right to left across the line for the Blue Demons. Between the legs with the dribble. Blocker has it straight away. A bounce pass to the free throw line. Gunn's got it. Fall away jump shot. High arcer goes down at the back of the rim and then spun in. DePaul extends the lead 19-16 over UConn. 7.5 minutes to go in the first.
Yeah, you got a lucky bounce there. That shot was off a little bit long, but just stuck right in the corner there.
Demery has it between the circles. Checked by Caleb Banks of DePaul. Off of Curl Mullins. Right side 3. Doesn't go. Fight for the rebound. And it goes out of bounds under the basket. Last touch by UConn. Blue Demons ball.
Yeah, good defensive stop there by the Demons. They had a hand up on that shot by Mullins. Didn't get him a clear look.
Layden Blocker has it in the backcourt along the far sideline. Demery on him, but light pressure. He backs away as Blocker brings it up across the line. Head of the key, Banks right back to Blocker between the circles. Off a curl left of the circle, Smith. Bounce pass at the free throw line. Gunn drives mid-post, fall away. Shot partially blocked, and UConn picks up the loose ball. Here comes Ross across the line. Stops at the top of the key. Launches a 3 and misses. Short rebound. Reed, his putback goes down from the left side.
Reed did a great job of getting inside position there as he saw his teammate getting ready to shoot.
DePaul 19, UConn 18, 6:40 to go in the first. Demons with the basketball. Blocker drives right under the basket. Lost the ball. Picked up by Banks. Right of the lane. Up high Gunn. Fakes a 3. Kick out right side. Banks puts it up and missed it. Too strong with the 3. Weak side rebound. Stewart. He flies into the front court for UConn. Gives to Demery between the circles. Drives to the free throw line. Hesitation. Now right of the lane. Kick out Stewart. Roaming right baseline. Hangs in the air. Goes right at Benson and floats home a run.
That's a nice little hesitation move there. Held itself up in the air. Went through the contact. Got it to go.
So UConn retakes the lead 20-19 over DePaul. Coming up on 6 minutes to go before the end of the first half. Smith near the midcourt stripe off to the right. Hesitation dribble with the left hand, uses a screen, spins to the top of the key, turns the corner, drives left, scoop layup, shot blocked by Reed, loose ball, Benson, and his putback doesn't go, but he got fouled on the play. NJ Benson heads to the line to shoot 2.
R.J. Smith trying to plead his case for a goaltending call there, but I think Reed got it on the way up, but Reed having to come over and help out defensively allowed NJ Benson the opportunity to pick up the offensive rebound.
So NJ Benson at the line for two. He struggled, shooting 48% from the stripe. Benson wearing a white headband, bends the knee, snaps the right wrist. Here comes the free throw. It's short.
Man. He's better than this last year.
5:54 to go, first half. Number 5, UConn on top of DePaul, 20-19. Demons up by as many as 8 points in this first half. Substitution for DePaul. Cruz McClure back into the game for the Blue Demons. CJ Gunn gets a breather. One more free throw for Benson. Here it comes. It's good. Hit every part of the rim as you heard. It dropped in. And the Demons tie up the game 20-all. I like how you get excited by free throws. I mean, like,
could have went either way.
Yeah.
Could have went either way there for a while.
5:50 to go, tie game. DePaul and number 5 UConn, even at 20. Bodies flying on the far sideline, nothing called. UConn works the ball around the perimeter. Demery head of the key, hesitation dribble. Now stops mid-post, right of the lane. Kick out left side. Ross drives left baseline, whirls inside the paint, and a blocking foul has been called on DePaul.
The fans into it here. A lot of DePaul fans come out. You think we're playing the number 5 team in the country, and you figure there's going to be a lot of people coming out to watch UConn play. But the DePaul fans are showing up in strength here today.
Yeah, it's tough to tell who's rooting for who because both UConn and DePaul wear blue and red uniforms.
Yeah, but no, you can tell by the response from the crowd there that it's primarily a DePaul crowd.
Jaden Ross at the line, puts up the first free throw, puts it home. 5:37 to go here in half number 1 as UConn retakes the lead with that made free throw, 21-20 over DePaul. Macklin sits after picking up the personal. And back in the game, Caleb Banks for DePaul. One more free throw for Jaden Ross. He bends the knee, snaps the right wrist, and puts home the free throw. UConn goes up by 2, 22-20 over DePaul. Coming up on 5.5 minutes to go before the end of the first half. DePaul basketball, leading blocker across the line right to left. Blocker down the right sideline, uses a screen from Flores, spins to the middle, now stops left of the circle, gives to Smith, fakes a three from the right side, holds the ball by his right knee. Now takes a dribble to the middle, flips it to McClure, off to the right in three-point range. McClure drives right baseline, angle cut off, under 10 to shoot for DePaul. McClure has it right wing, now accelerates, alley-oop! Oh, too strong for Flores. Ball knocked out of bounds. It was last touch by DePaul.
And they executed that well as the shot clock was running down. Just good defense there by UConn to break that up.
UConn ball up 22-20 over DePaul. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Demery has it right of the circle, being hounded by Smith. Uses a screen from Ross, spins left of the circle. Now at the free throw line, it's Mullins. Fall-away jump shot on the way. Front rim doesn't go. Ball loose, picked up by Flores for the Demons under the basket. Into the hands now of McClure. Across the line, right-handed dribble, down the left sideline, spins to the middle. He's at the top of the key, and he gets fouled by Demery.
Got him around the neck there, and they're in the bonus also. So we're going to get free throws there with a chance to tie this game up with 4:44 to go here in the first half.
UConn 22, DePaul 20. McClure on the year, a 74% free throw shooter. He's had his best games in the Demons' biggest games. 22 points against LSU, 15 points against Northwestern. McClure puts up the first free throw, puts it home. He'll get one more.
St. John's is one of the biggest games. And he kind of fell flat there in his first opener in the Big East, but I see a lot of potential out of Cruz McClure. Plus, he's got one of the best names we've had on the roster in a while.
He ties up the game as McClure knocks down the second free throw. 22 all, DePaul and number 5 UConn. 4:40 to go here in the first half. Huskies with the basketball. Mullins has it off to the right. Feeds Ross between the circles. Banks in his grill. Plays catch with Ryba. Off to the right, it's Ross. Shakes the shoulders, drives right, hangs in the air. Fall-away hook, gets it to go from the right baseline.
High level of difficulty there. That's pretty good defense.
So UConn goes up 24-22 over DePaul. Coming up on 4 minutes to go, first half. Blockers got it between the circles. Uses a screen, bounces right. Banks head of the key. Off of Curl McClure, right wing, whips it underneath to Flores, and he's fouled by Ryba.
I remember in the bonus now, so Flores, a very good free throw shooter, going to get a chance to go up to the line. 12 out of 14 on the season.
Flores, a 7'2" sophomore from Spain in his first season with the Blue Demons. Ryba now with 2 personals. DePaul has not gotten a field goal in 3.5 minutes, but the Blue Demons can tie up the game here if Flores is able to hit 2 free throws. Ilya Miljasevic enters the game for the first time for DePaul. Blocker gets a breather. Miljasevic, a 3-point specialist. All right, so Flores at the line. This is a 1-and-1. The big man bends the knees, flicks the right wrist, and misses the free throw. Rebound, Caravan. He will not get a second. 4 minutes to go, first half. UConn 24, DePaul 22. Demery has it across the line, down the left sideline, checked by Miljasevic. Uses a screen from Ross, spins to the top of the key, turns the corner, alley-oop, catch, Reed, too far under the basket, spins right, turnaround hook with the left hand, goes down.
He used to use his shoulder and his elbow to push Flores out of the way.
UConn 26, DePaul 22, under 4 minutes to go in half number 1. Banks has it off to the right for the Blue Demons. Between the rings now, Smith uses a Flores screen, bounces right, stops the dribble, cross-court pass McClure, left wing behind the arc with 15 to shoot for DePaul. McClure uses a Flores screen, spins to the top of the key, now reverses left, shakes the shoulders, turnaround jump, rolls it in from the left side. Pretty move by Cruz McClure. DePaul down 2, UConn 26, the Blue Demons 24, coming up on 3 minutes to go here in half number 1. Malachi Smith for UConn between the circles. He bounces off to the left. McClure checking him. Man-to-man defense by the Demons in the half court. Now a switch. Miljasevic guards him. A bounce pass inside Reed. Work on Flores. Turns baseline. Double team comes from McClure. Still puts it up. Shot blocked by Flores, who retrieves the loose ball. Into the hands now of Smith. Demons on the move. Smith hesitation dribble. Top of the key. Gives to McClure left wing. McClure head of the key. Shakes the shoulders, uses a Flores screen, stops left of the circle, now gives to Smith, who's got it between the circles. 15 to shoot for DePaul. Smith uses a Flores screen, drives to the free throw line, floater up, it's good! DePaul ties up the game, 26-all with 2:35 remaining here in the first half against number 5 UConn. Listen to this crowd as the Blue Demons have gotten people on their feet here at Wintrust Arena. Timeout. Man, oh man, what a first half for the Blue Demons.
Zach, you talked about it, that every 4 minutes there's a timeout. Or if coaches don't take one, there's a media timeout every 4 minutes. And as you advocate, play those 4-minute segments one at a time. And here we go again. We're down to 2:35 to go in the first half. And the Demons are in a tie ball game with UConn at 26-26. They're holding UConn now to 37% shooting, 10 out of 27 from the floor. So right now, if the defense can continue to play at this level, we're looking at a very exciting game.
Blue Demon Nation, help recruit and retain the best student athletes in the Big East and National. Make a gift today to the Fund for Basketball Excellence. For more information, visit DePaulBlueDemons.com/give. It's been a big Chicago sports weekend so far. The Bears with that big win over Green Bay in dramatic fashion last night at Soldier Field. The White Sox signing the Kyle Schwarber of Japan. And the Blue Demons off to a tremendous first half against the 5th-ranked team in the country, UConn. 2:35 remaining before halftime, 26-all.
You know, I'm going to go back to these turnover stats again. DePaul with 9 turnovers, UConn with 8. Here with a few minutes to go in the first half, both of those numbers are high. But then you go down and look at the points scored off turnovers. DePaul has scored 16 points off of turnovers. UConn has only scored 2 points. So DePaul has turned the ball over 9 times, but that only led to 2 points on the offensive end for UConn, as opposed to UConn turning the ball over 8 times, and DePaul capitalizing on that for 16 points. So basically they would have to score on every turnover that they created, and that's been a big difference in this game. They've been much more efficient at taking advantage of the opportunities that they have.
UConn has won 7 straight ball games, including a 79-60 home victory over Butler in its Big East opener this past Tuesday. The Huskies' only loss coming to Arizona back in November, then ranked 4th in the country. The Wildcats are now number 1 in college basketball. UConn played 5 top 25 teams in non-conference action. The Huskies were picked to finish 2nd in the Big East preseason coaches poll. You can make an argument, this is the best team of the Big East. We saw St. John's.
You can certainly make that argument.
UConn has looked better, at least so far to this point in the season. And granted, UConn minus Solo Ball, its leading scorer, out with a wrist injury. Ball averages more than 15 points per game. But UConn is a loaded squad, loaded. And the Blue Demons are going toe-to-toe with the number 5 team in the country.
Yeah, they got some McDonald's All-Americans out there. They've got some transfers that were some of the most highly sought-after transfers in the country. And they're coached by one of the in the best program in the country here with Dan Hurley coaching. So you know you're going to get a game.
2.5 minutes to go in the first. Game tied at 26. UConn basketball. Malachi Smith has it off to the left. Now Reed, the big man ahead of the key, flips it to Demery between the circles, working on McClure. Off a curl, left side, Caravan. His floater goes up and down with the right hand.
You need a bucket, go to a 2-time NCAA champion.
And Caravan gives UConn the lead again, 28-26 over DePaul. Coming up on 2 minutes to go before the end of the first half. R.J. Smith across the midcourt stripe off to the right. Checked by Demery. Benson, the big man, has the three-point range to the right. Miljasevic off to the right behind the arc. Shakes the shoulders. Checked by Smith. 10 to shoot for the Blue Demons. Loops a pass to the middle. Banks retrieves it off to the left. Now McClure has it with 5 to shoot at the top of the key. Hangs in the air. Launches a three. No good, but he got fouled with the shot clock running down. Cruz McClure, a bailout foul. The Demons head to the stripe for 3.
That was huge. Cruz McClure, I thought they might call him. You can have an offensive foul on that if you create the contact. And he certainly jumped into the defender there, Ross. But went our way. Let's see if this whole night will end up going our way.
McClure 2 of 2 at the stripe. Here's the first free throw. Puts it in. DePaul down 1, 1:46 to go here in the first half. Number 5, UConn 28, DePaul 27. McClure looking to tie up the game. He's got 8 points so far this afternoon. Here's the second free throw. In and out. One more coming up for McClure, who was fouled with the shot clock running down as he launched an off-balance 3 from the top of the key. McClure trying to even up the game. Bends the knees, eyes the rim, snaps the right wrist, and puts home the free throw. DePaul evens it up. 28 all against number 5 UConn. 1:44 to go here in half number 1. Huskies with the ball. Demery across the line off to the right. Ross has it head of the key. Off a curl, Demery, 3-point range right side. Dribbles to the middle. Caravan left wing, 3 on the way. And Caravan rattles it home. UConn retakes the lead. 31-28 over DePaul. 1.5 minutes remaining before halftime. At the top of the circle, R.J. Smith bounces to the right with a left-handed dribble. Now blitzed by a double team, uses Benson screen, spins to the right, hesitation dribble, roaming baseline, floats up a runner, off glass, no good. Rebound Reed for UConn. Into the front court, Smith off to the right, feeds Caravan, roaming right baseline, kick out left corner, it's Ross, but he stepped out of bounds as he caught the ball in the left corner. Demons catch a break, turnover UConn.
You know, if they had it to do over again, they'd make these basketball courts wider. The talent and the ability of these guys to shoot from far out, but there's just not much room there between that 3-point line and that sideline.
1:05 remaining in the first. UConn 31, DePaul 28. Demons with the basketball. R.J. Smith walks it up across the line, down the right sideline into the front court. Checked by Demery. Caleb Banks, 3-point range to the right. Head of the key now, it's McClure. Miljasevic has it left wing, top of the circle. Benson accelerates to the hole. Wild layup shot blocked by Reed. Ross comes up with a loose ball for UConn. He flies into the front court. Underhand toss now. Demery head of the key. Driving left. Kick out in the corner. It's Smith for 3. The high arcer partially blocked. It's an air ball. Demons come up with a loose ball. Smith lead feed Miljasevic. Ball knocked away by Smith. Out of bounds along the baseline. It remains DePaul ball with 25 to shoot. A lot of action.
Miljasevic there got the hand on that 3-point shot, deflected it, and then took off. Oh, Smith almost had him on the breakaway. That would have been a fantastic hit, 2-punch hit.
32.7 seconds to go in the first. UConn 31, DePaul 28. It'll be Demons basketball in the near corner of the front court. R.J. Smith to trigger in. Loops a pass to Benson. 3-point range to the left. Now back to Smith, who's got it between the rings. About a 7-second differential between shot clock and game clock. 15 to shoot now for the Blue Demons. Smith off to the left. 10 to shoot. Smith hard dribble with the right hand. Waits for a screen, gets it from Banks. Shakes the shoulders, drives. fires up a three. High archer from the right side, no good. A one-handed rebound for Ross. 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. Across the line, Demery drives, and he's fouled in the paint.
Well, you knew they were going to attack the basket with not much time left on the clock there as they approached the half. And UConn took off there on that missed shot and got themselves back to the line here with a chance. 5 seconds to go, UConn 3-point lead. This would be the biggest lead of the game for UConn if they knock down these free throws.
Miljasevic called on the personal.
UConn had a 4-point lead at one point, so if they knock down both of these, it'd be the biggest lead of the game.
So at the line, Silas Demery Jr., 6'4" junior transfer from Georgia. He's a 76% free throw shooter. 5.5 seconds remaining first half. UConn leading DePaul 31-28. Demery puts up the first free throw and puts it in.
Now 5.5 seconds, plenty of time for the Demons to maybe get a last second shot here if they set something up.
32-28 the score. UConn up by 4. 5.5 seconds to go, as Dave mentioned, here in half number 1. What a first half of the Blue Demons.
Look at the dance they're playing here as the Demons try to line up. UConn switching sides between Ross and
Caravan.
And the Demons trying to walking it back and forth across the lane with them.
Here's the second free throw by Demery, and it goes down. So 5-point lead for UConn, 33-28 over DePaul. 5.5 seconds to go in the first. Full court pressure by UConn. Blockers got it along the near sideline, crosses the timeline, drives inside the paint, floater with the right hand. Oh, gets it to go! As time runs out on half number 1. An excellent play by the Blue Demons to close out the first half. What a first half by DePaul. They're knocking on the door. Hanging with number 5 UConn. It's the Huskies 33, the Blue Demons 30 after the first 20 minutes of play.
Great final play, 5.5 seconds to go. We said there would be time to get something going back the other way. Demons had something planned. They had Leighton Blocker inbounding the ball. He inbounded it and then took off on a sprint. They got the ball right back to him. He took it coast to coast, finished up with a circus little floater there in the lane. UConn was back defensively, but again, sometimes there's nothing better than shot clock running out for an offensive player. No conscience then. You one goal, get it to the rim, get that shot up. That time you got it to go before the halftime clock went off. Look at it right now. It looks like the officials are double checking to make sure he got it off in time, but I'm pretty sure. I think we all agree that he did.
Yeah, from the naked eye, it definitely appeared as though Blocker got the shot off before time ran out. Yep, and they say yes, so count the basket. It's a 3-point lead for UConn over DePaul after the first 20 minutes of play. Huskies 33, Blue Demons 30. This is a big deal. I mean, it's been a long time since the Blue Demons went toe-to-toe with UConn, and yet that is happening here today. You know, since DePaul joined the Big East, Dave, they have only 2 victories against top 5 teams. Kansas 2006, Butler 2020, and the Demons looking to pull off a mega upset here today against 5th-ranked UConn at Wintrust Arena. So happy to have you with us here for this big Sunday afternoon basketball game in the South Loop. It's time now to take a look at the college basketball scoreboard, and we'll check the Big East as well as the entire top 25 board. And we'll start in Big East play, where the most important game is the one here at Wintrust. Blue Demons up 30, Blue Demons down by 3, 33-30, the UConn lead over DePaul. And as for the rest of the top 25 board, number 2 Michigan all over LaSalle, 67-37 in the second half. Final, number 23 Florida, 90-60 drubbing of Colgate. 13th ranked Vanderbilt, a 98-67 win over Wake Forest. Number 16 Alabama rolls past Kennesaw State, 92-81. 20th rated Tennessee beats Gardner-Webb, 94-52. Later on today, it'll be number 4 Iowa State taking on Long Beach State. 7th rated Gonzaga will play Oregon in the Northwest Elite Showdown, and 15th-rated Nebraska home against North Dakota. Here at Wintrust Arena, the Blue Demons going toe-to-toe with 5th-ranked UConn. Huskies up 33-30 here at halftime, and now it's time for the first half recap, brought to you by Aries Charter Transportation, an official charter bus provider of DePaul Athletics. Dave?
All right, let's do it. Pretty exciting first half. UConn with a 3-point lead, 33-30. UConn, a team that averages almost 80 points a game, so Demons doing a very good job defensively against this UConn Husky team. Individual scoring for UConn. Alex Caravan leads all scorers. He's the only player on either team in double figures. He's hit all 4 of his shots, 2 of which were 3-pointers. So he has 10 points, the only player in double figures on either team. Terrace Reed, the other first-team All-Big East player on this UConn squad, has 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds. Silas Demery, 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. So if he did that in the second half, he would have himself a triple-double. He's been effective in all 3 of those areas. Other scorers for UConn, Jalen Stewart with 4 points, and Jaden Ross off the bench with 4 points to round out their 33-point first half. For the Demons, 30 points. The freshman, Cruz McClure, who came up empty in the Big East opener against St. John's just a couple of nights ago, comes up, would be the leading scorer, second leading scorer in the game overall, behind the All-American Alex Caravan. Cruz McClure, the freshman, 9 points on 2 out of 3 shooting and only 11 minutes on the floor. Knocked down 4 out of 5 free throws, made his only 3-point attempt. So not a great night in his opener against St. John's, but what a game to have against the number 5 team in the country here in the first half for the freshman Cruz McClure with 9 points. Leighton Blocker, the veteran, 3 out of 6 from the floor. He has 7 points, 4 points apiece by Brandon Macklin, who came off the bench again with that shoulder injury. He's had the biggest impact that Brandon Macklin had is the 4 steals. He really helped DePaul open up a little bit of a lead there for a minute. 4 steals that led to some breakaway points for the Demons, but unfortunately Brandon Macklin with 3 fouls after making that impact had to leave the game. CJ Gunn, the Demons' leading scorer on the season, 2 for 4 from the field. He has 4 points. Other scorers for DePaul, RJ Smith, who got the start today, 1 for 4 from the field for 3 points. And NJ Benson, the big man inside, 1 for 4 from the field for 3 points. Turnovers again, both teams with 9. RJ Smith, CJ Gunn, 3 turnovers apiece to lead the Blue Demons, and that's an area that both teams will try to clean up in the second half. UConn with a 20-14 advantage on the boards. The Demons were battling them fairly evenly for a while, but UConn opened that up a little bit. 7 of those 20 rebounds were on the offensive boards. Demons have 3 of their 14 rebounds on the offensive board. Second chance points, UConn up in that category 6-1. So UConn done a little bit better job on the boards, but Demons holding their own. From the floor overall, Demons shooting 42% and 11 out of 26 shooting. 2 of 7 from behind the arc. 6 out of 10, 60% from the free throw line. UConn being held to 40% shooting. They're a 50% shooting team on the season. Remember, those stats are against some of the top teams in the country, not the typical pre-conference teams that everybody racks up numbers against. But right now, UConn only shooting 40% from the floor on 12 for 30 from the floor, 3 out of 10 from the three-point line, 30%, They got to the free throw line 9 times, made 6 of those. So even output from the free throw line, both teams with 6 points apiece from the free throw line. Pretty even game we've had. Biggest lead UConn had was 5. DePaul at one point had an 8-point lead before Huskies came back. But right now, a very exciting game. If we get a second half like this, it's going to be a lot of fun.
There's your first half recap, courtesy of Aries Charter Transportation. And just to piggyback on the point that you made, UConn has not played cupcakes during the non-conference portion of the season. They played number 7 BYU, 4th-rated Arizona at the time, and now the Wildcats are the number 1 team in the country. That's the only loss for UConn so far this season is to Arizona. That was at home at Gamble Pavilion. They took on 13th-rated Illinois at Madison Square Garden. Number 21 Kansas beat them at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And 18th-rated Florida. And they've also played Texas as well as Butler to start Big East play.
That Kansas win, only the 7th non-conference loss in 234 years at KU and under Bill Self. So, well, I think not 234. 24 years. 234 goes back a little way. Too far.
Even past James Naismith.
24 years. 24 years. They've lost 7 non-conference games with Bill Self as the coach of that Kansas team at home. So a huge win for UConn there.
And UConn is one of the blue bloods of college basketball. 6 national championships. That's tied for 3rd most all-time with North Carolina, including back-to-back titles in 2023 and 2024 under Dan Hurley. Only UCLA with 11 and Kentucky with 8 have more national championships than UConn. 8 Big East tournament championships. That's tied for most all-time. 11 Big East regular season titles. That's the most in the history of the conference. 37 NCAA tournament appearances, including 5 straight appearances, 7 Final Fours, 13 Elite Eights, 19 Sweet 16s. And at the start of this NBA season, 8 former UConn players were in the NBA, including Stephon Castle with San Antonio, Donovan Clingan with Portland, and Liam McNeely, the star freshman from last year, now with the Charlotte Hornets. And again, the Huskies ranked 5th in the country coming into play today with an 11-1 record. So what are the Blue Demons trying to do? Well, they're trying to pick up a win over a top 25 team for the first time since 2023, when they knocked off number 8 Xavier 73-72. The Demons have yet to beat a ranked opponent since Chris Holtman became the head coach. But you got to remember, when he took over a squad that finished 3-29, including 0-20 in Big East play. Last year, the Blue Demons made a dramatic improvement, winning 14 games, including 4 in conference action, and that doesn't include the victory over Georgetown in the first round of the Big East tournament, and then the double overtime thriller. Yeah, the Demons lost to Creighton in the quarterfinal round at Madison Square Garden, but man, oh man, was that a tremendous performance. And now the Blue Demons looking to pick up on that. They already have some big wins this year against Georgia Tech and against the Wichita State team a week ago, last weekend in Kansas. Tough go of it in the Big East opener against number 22 St. John's on the road, but today the Demons going toe-to-toe with the Huskies.
Yeah, well, we talked about it prior to the tip-off that if the Demons could maintain the intensity level defensively for the whole game and play as hard as they could and be competitive, they had a chance to be in this game. And you can't enter anybody that's involved in any aspect of life if you go into almost anything you're doing at some level is competitive. And if you go into a situation like that, figuring you have no chance of being successful, that kind of tends to be true. So you've got to go in to situations like this looking at it as an opportunity. You don't get many chances to knock off one of the top teams in your conference and in the country. So this is a tough game for them to win, but would you rather be in this game every week, or would you rather be playing some of the bottom teams in some of these leagues that aren't as competitive? So I do this every night. Look at the excitement in the crowd. Look at the excitement of the players, the competitiveness. This is college basketball.
This is why you come to DePaul to play in the Big East against some of the best teams in the country, including UConn, a team that very well, before all is said and done, can end up winning the national championship this season. Blue Demons were up by as many as 8 points in the first half. They're looking to slay some demons, and pun intended, tonight as DePaul has dropped 20 in a row to UConn. This is game number 23 in the series, game number 23 in the all-time series between DePaul and UConn. And the Huskies lead it 21-1, including 20 straight wins over the Demons. First meeting took place back in 2004 in the NCAA tournament in Buffalo, a 72-55 UConn win. That's the last time the Blue Demons went dancing, that game against UConn. DePaul's only win in the series came in 2007 in Rosemont, a 66-58 win over the Huskies. Draylon Burns led the way for DePaul with 26 points. That was a very loaded Blue Demons team. Remember, they had Wilson Chandler, who eventually went on to the NBA, Sammy Mejia, DePaul Athletic Hall of Famer, who was drafted by the Detroit Pistons in the second round. I mean, that gives you an idea of the kind of firepower the Blue Demons had when they entered the Big East.
Yeah, well, again, they had some good players on that team, as you say, when they entered the Big East. And the issue was continuing to recruit at that level, and that aspect of the game has changed dramatically from the point that the Demons entered the Big East. Everybody aware now of the atmosphere now that has been college basketball with the NIL, the transfer portal, completely changing the complexion of what college basketball is. And you see that year after year, night after night, especially as we enter now conference play. This is where you hope that your team is starting to come together, because so many teams now only have guys that weren't here last year, that the key players. Sometimes you've got, in the old days, you might have some freshmen, or you try to work in a player or two. Nowadays, you might have a whole new starting lineup. So even talking about what happened between two teams, even last year, let alone historically, other than the atmosphere and the culture of the programs, every night's a new night here now, especially with the way college basketball is being played right now.
Getting set for the second half here at Wintrust Arena. The Demons looking off to pull a major upset. They're down by 3 against number 5 UConn. Huskies 33, Blue Demons 30. Blue Demons wearing their home white uniforms with blue numerals and lettering outlined in scarlet, horizontal blue stripes on the sides of the jerseys and the shorts. UConn wearing navy blue road uniforms with white numerals and lettering. White and red piping down the sides of the jerseys and the shorts. Blue Demons looking to beat a top 25 team for the first time since 2023. Looking to beat, I should say, a top 5 team for the first time since they knocked off Butler in 2020. DePaul with just 2 top 5 wins since joining the Big East. Kansas in 2006 and Butler in 2020.
You don't get that many chances to play a top 5.
Well, you do in the Big East, especially when
the Big East is a little bit more opportunity.
It'll be UConn ball to begin the second half. The Huskies will move from right to left from our vantage point, just to the edge of the DePaul bench here at Wintrust Arena. The 5 on the floor for DePaul: Banks, Gunn, Smith, Blocker, and Benson. UConn ball, and the second half is underway. Right to left across the line comes Mullins, the freshman, checked by Smith, who knocks the ball away. But before he did, Mullins stepped out of bounds along the far sideline, and the second half starts with a UConn turnover. DePaul ball.
Not getting any better than that for the Demons. Let's see now if they can get something going on their end.
A 3 can tie up the game. 10 seconds gone by second half. UConn 33, DePaul 30. Demons ball. Benson head of the key. Checked by Reed. Man-to-man defense by UConn. Blocker top of the circle. Off to the left. Banks drives inside the paint. Couple of pop fakes. Layup shot blocked by Caravan. Ball loose. It rolls out of bounds under the basket. Last touch by the Demons. Husky ball.
Looks like we're going to see some more defense in this half, just as we did in the first half. Both teams coming out playing aggressively.
30 seconds gone by second half. UConn 33, DePaul 30. Jalen Stewart will put it in play for UConn. The Huskies have to go the full end of the floor, but time called because apparently there's some condensation on the floor. So Lamar Simpson wants it wiped off. He's told both teams to head back to their benches as managers and ball boys
Dan
head
Hurley's
down.
leaving.
Dan Hurley is going to check out the condensation on the floor to make sure that
When do you
it is
see that?
indeed dry. And now Hurley
He's leaving.
is walking under the tunnel along the far corner. Perhaps he needs a bathroom
Yeah,
break.
a bathroom
Not quite
break,
sure
maybe.
what's going on there.
I don't know, but let's quit cleaning out the floor and get the game going with Hurley in the bathroom. Here he comes back again. What a wild thing.
Apparently Silas Demery Jr. had an issue. He needed a bathroom break, and he went down the wrong tunnel to try and find the UConn locker room. So Danny Hurley came running after him to make sure that he turned him around and pointed him in the direction of the
Why don't you
UConn
send
visiting.
somebody else if you're Danny Hurley? Don't they have any ball boys?
He's got a hands-on approach.
Yeah, he nothing. He's
Yeah.
in charge of everything.
He's a two-time championship coach.
Yeah,
He's
right.
not messing around, right?
Yeah, I'll get it.
It's like an octopus. He has his
Supposed to
tentacles in
be
every
able to
aspect of
delegate
basketball.
is a important skill.
And they're still wiping off
Yeah,
the
it must be.
condensation.
How wet can it be?
Apparently very wet
The
because
ceiling's leaking.
trusted trainer Mike Summer has grabbed a mop and he's
Do they have? Is
working on
that
it.
is that a garbage can with a liner
There's
in it?
maybe
Maybe the ceiling's leaking.
or maybe someone dropped a refreshment of some kind on the far sideline. All right, they've cleaned that up. We're ready for the resumption of play. 30
Wow.
seconds gone by here in the second half. UConn with the basketball and a 33-30 lead over DePaul. In the front court, Stewart head of the key. Off a curl, right side, Caravan whips the pass inside Reed. Couple of up fakes working on Benson. Up fake, fall away. Jump goes down, high off the glass, banks it in. UConn 35, DePaul 30 here in the opening minute of the second half. Blocker drives left on Smith. Kick out to R.J. Smith of the Blue Demons. Inside pass, right on the lane. Benson, couple of up fakes on Reed. Turnaround hook with a left-hand shot blocked by Reed, who retrieves the loose ball. Malachi Smith into the front court for UConn. Down the left sideline, uses the screen, spins off to the right. Malachi Smith with a left-handed dribble. Now at the top of the key. Off a curl, Caliban at the free throw line. Bounce pass inside, and it's kicked by the Demons. So it remains UConn ball with 20 to shoot. 1 minute, 10 seconds gone by second half. The Huskies a 35-30 lead over the Blue Demons. UConn ball. Reed has it. Three-point range to the left. Loops a pass inside. Caravan all alone. Banks home a layup.
It's a mistake there, obviously, defensively.
Layden Blocker across the line. Down the left sideline into the front court. Blocker being hounded by Malachi Smith. Blocker now dribbles on the big DePaul logo at center court. Veers off to the right. Uses an R.J. Smith screen. Now flips to R.J. Smith, head of the key. Off the curl, Gunn has it left wing. Working on Stewart. Uses a Benson screen. Roams baseline under the basket. Couple of up fakes. Kicks it out to Benson. Push shot. Left of the lane. Goes down with the right hand.
That was a big bucket to stop UConn from going on a roll here.
Nearly 2 minutes gone by second half. UConn 37, DePaul 32. Huskies with the ball. Malachi Smith near the midcourt stripe straight away. Checked by Layden Blocker. Off to the right, Caravan, and he's fouled from behind by
He's
C.J.
fouled on
Gunn.
a dumb foul. It's his fourth foul now. C.J. Gunn, third foul. I'm sorry, his third foul.
So the third personal on Gunn. He stays in the game. Jalen Stewart will trigger in for UConn. Front court along the far sideline. He feeds Smith, three-point range to the right. Blocker on him. Malachi Smith loops a pass left of the circle. Reed now right wing behind the arc. Caravan holds the ball over his head. Malachi Smith left wing throws it inside to Reed left of the lane. Diagonal pass off to the right. Caravan for three, and he knocks it down.
Starting to put a little space between us here. We need some bucket.
UConn 40, DePaul 32. 2.5 minutes gone by second half. Demons work the ball around the perimeter. Banks has it off to the right now. Blocker's got it near the midcourt stripe straight away. Uses a Benson screen, spins right of the circle, stops the dribble, loops a pass inside. Benson, two-handed stuff, and excellent lob from Layden Blocker. And an emphatic jam flying in from the left side. N.J. Benson, 40-34 the score. UConn with the lead. Nearly 3 minutes gone by second half. Huskies with the ball. Malachi Smith off to the right. Head of the key, Caravan fakes a three. Left wing, it's Smith. Hands off to Caravan along the left baseline. 10 to shoot. Up high, Malachi Smith. Driving right angle cut off. Backs it out into three-point range. 5 to shoot. Smith roams right baseline under the basket. Kick out Reed. Whirls inside the paint. Turnaround hook with the right hand. Shot, no. Missed the rim. And a shot clock violation has been called on UConn.
Reed, not aware of how much time he had to get that shot out, just kind of tossed it up there and missed everything.
All right, so we've got a developing situation here for UConn. Demery remains in the locker room. No solo ball. Demons basketball, 16:52 remaining in the game. Against full court UConn pressure, Malachi Smith pressuring RJ Smith, who dribbles into the front court. Now Demery is back for the locker room. Smith drives left, angle cut off, bounce pass inside, Gunn, no look pass, Benson, layup, shot block. Benson retrieves the loose ball, up fake, reverse layup. Oh, he missed the bunny left to right. Try to go right at Reed, couldn't get it to go. 16 and a half minutes remaining in the second half. UConn with the ball and the lead. Free throw line, Reed driving right, hangs in the air, layup, missed it. Rebound, Benson. DePaul ball, RJ Smith across the line. Hesitation dribble, top of the key. Fakes a three, gives to Benson. At the head of the circle, holds the ball, and now hands off to Smith. Stops right elbow, gives to Benson, left of the lane. Back up high, Smith for three. Rims out. Rebound, Mullins. Along the near sideline, he'll cross the timeline off to the left. Braylon Mullins veers off to the right, gives to Malachi Smith behind the arc, uses a screen, bounces right, accelerates, gives behind him Reed at the free throw line. Spin move on Benson, turnaround hook, won't go. DePaul with a rebound. Here comes Caleb Banks. 40-34, the UConn lead. 15:40 remaining in the game. DePaul slows it down in the front court. RJ Smith breathing heavily, holding the ball by his left hip near the midcourt stripe straight away. Waits for a Benson screen, gets it, bounces to the left. Now Banks has it behind the arc. 10 to shoot for DePaul. CJ Gunn at the head of the key, working on Stewart. He'll launch for three. No good. Short. Rebound Reed for UConn. Into the hands now of Malachi Smith, who brings it up across the line off to the right. Smith with a left-handed dribble, whirls past RJ Smith. Scoop left with the right hand. Gets it to go.
A little hesitation step there. Looked like he was going to hold up, but he did that little scoop shot now.
So that ends a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes for UConn. Huskies up 42-34 over DePaul. 5 minutes gone by, second half. Demons on a scoring drought of 2+ minutes. RJ Smith off to the right. Feeds McClure head of the key. Back to Smith, right wing. NJ Benson, top of the circle, shakes the shoulders, drives right, accelerates to the hole, layup, too strong. Rebound taken down by Caravan, who brings it up himself. Down the right sideline, diagonal spin to the middle. Lefty layup, oh, shot blocked by Banks. Loose ball retrieved by Stewart. Underhand scoop shot, reverse style, gets it to go left to right.
Double figure lead now for UConn.
44-34, it's the biggest lead of the game for the Huskies, up by 10. Timeout. Game beginning to escape the Blue Demons, who've gone on a scoring drought of about 3 minutes. Zach Shadman, Dave Corzine with you courtside here at Wintrust Arena. The Big East home opener for the Blue Demons. They dropped the conference opener last Tuesday on the road at number 22 St. John's. Even Dibs knows everyone needs a timeout every now and then, so why not take yours at the beach? Myrtle Beach is home to 60 miles of warm, sandy beaches, over 2,000 restaurants, and much more. Enter now for your chance to win your very own beach break getaway, compliments of Visit Myrtle Beach. Go to visitmyrtlebeach.com/DePaul to enter. Your ultimate beach break is a click away. Demons were down by 3 at halftime, but UConn has gone on a run, and the Huskies now up by 10. 44-34 over the Demons, 14:28 remaining second half.
And UConn's been doing it with defense. That's been the key to their successful season. That's one of the main reasons they're in the top 5 in the country right now in voting. So they do it primarily with defense. We continue to talk about their defensive statistics over the course of the season against some of the top teams in the country, and they're now locked down on the Demons in the second half here. Demons only shot 2 out of 9. Meanwhile, UConn 5 out of 9, over 50%, and they've knocked down their only three-pointer. Demons 0 for 2. So 2 for 9 for DePaul leads to a 11-4 run by UConn here to begin the second half. Plenty of time left, though. It's a 10-point game. This is the biggest lead that UConn has had to this point in the game. So, Demons in a timeout here. Let's see what happens. Be interesting to see what Coach Holton calls here. And let's watch what happens coming out of this timeout.
14:28 to go. UConn 44, DePaul 34. Demons were up by as many as 8 points in the first half, down by 3 at halftime. As Dave mentioned, UConn has opened up its biggest lead of the game, now up by 10.
UConn now with 11 turnovers on the game. We talked about how many turnovers both teams had in the first half. DePaul with 9, UConn with 9, but the difference was that points off turnovers, what that led to was Demons had a 16-2 lead at halftime for points off turnovers, so they capitalized on those turnovers a lot more than UConn was able to do. Demons now have not turned the ball over here in the second half. They still have 9 turnovers in the game. They forced 2 more UConn turnovers, but again, not able to use those to get any buckets. Second half, they're not able to convert those into points. So UConn able to open up a 10-point lead here, but it's time for DePaul now to go on a little run of their own.
Demons shooting just 37% from the field, including 22% from three-point territory, 2 of 9. UConn 44% from the floor, including 4 of 11 from three-point range. So doing a quick math here, that's got to be right around 36%. Ready for the resumption of play. The Demons 5 on the floor. Flores manning the middle. Brandon Macklin, Layden Blocker, and Cruz McClure in the backcourt. Caleb Banks is the big forward. Demons have the ball in the front court with 25 to shoot. Macklin to trigger in along the near sideline. Gives to Blocker between the circles. Checked by Demery, who's back in the game. Off to the right, McClure behind the arc, spins to the top of the key, left of the circle. Now Macklin loops it to Flores at the top of the circle. Now Blocker's got it straight away. Blocker uses a screen, bounces left, 10 to shoot. Blocker in three-point territory, diagonal pass up high to Macklin. Is he looking at the shot clock? He isn't. 5 to shoot. Now he sees the shot clock, drives right, accelerates to the hole, and misses a layup, but he got fouled on the play. Brandon Macklin making something out of nothing. He's going to the line to shoot 2.
We're getting another timeout here.
14:03 remaining. Demons will head to the line after this official timeout. UConn 44, DePaul 34. Zach Saban, Dave Corzine with you courtside at Wintrust Arena. The Silver Fox, John Carey with us, helping us flash to the speakers of your radio as well as all of your smart devices. Disparty Law Group is Chicago's law firm. Disparty Law is the accident and injury law firm that fights hard for you. Just like the Blue Demons, the Disparty team knows how to win. When you're injured at work or in an accident, remember one name, Disparty Law, because Larry wins. The foul moments ago called on Jaden Ross of UConn. So the Demons will head to the line. Brandon Macklin will shoot 2. Demons on a long scoring drought here of 3+ minutes. 14:03 remaining in the game. DePaul down by 10.
Yeah, Cruz McClure, the freshman, who had a big first half with 9 points on 2 out of 3 shooting, knocked down a 3, 4 out of 5 from the free throw line. Led all scores for the Demons in the first half. Now, second half hasn't been able to get untracked as the Demons have, as a team, have not been able to get untracked. We're talking about it, 2 for 9 from the field there in the second half. So that's been the problem. UConn, I don't know any adjustments made or what they did there at halftime, but they've been able to prevent DePaul from putting points on the board. We've only scored 4 points in the first 6 minutes of the half.
DePaul has a motto that Chris Holtman always likes to talk about, and he shares it with us. Don't flinch. And this is one of those moments in the game where you can't flinch. And it's a mantra that the Demons have used through all the difficult times that they've had over the last 2 years, and it works. We saw it. Remember at Wichita State last weekend, Demons were down 11-0 to start the game, trailed by as many as 14 points, found a way to rally back and win on the road. And now that they're facing their biggest deficit of today's ball game, trailing by 10 to number 5 UConn here early in the second half. 14 minutes to go in the game. Huskies 44, Blue Demons 34.
Well, the good news is there's 14 minutes to go in the game, and a good timeout, I think, here by Coach Holtman to regroup a little bit before this gets any further out of range for the Demons here. The first double-digit lead either team has had, and hoping that we can turn this around here. Second half, get something to go down here out of this timeout. Let's see what they do out of the timeout. They need a basket, obviously. It's important for them, and We'll see the first offensive set they run. Right now, Macklin, I think, going to go to the free throw line here out of this timeout. But when they come back here on offense, we're going to see what kind of sets they run in when they need some important baskets.
Macklin was fouled on a driving layup attempt with the shot clock running down before the timeout. So he's going to the line for 2, 14:03 remaining in the second half. It's UConn 44, DePaul 34. The foul was called on Jaden Ross of UConn. So Macklin, this season, a 68% free throw shooter at the stripe for 2. His first trip to the line today, Macklin with 4 points. He bends the knees, snaps the right wrist, and the first free throw goes in and out. So the scoring drought remains at 3 minutes and 22 seconds for the Blue Demons. One more free throw for Brandon Macklin.
It's the first free throw shot by either team here in the second half.
Macklin misses the second, a one-handed rebound for Ross. So a tough trip to the line for DePaul. Under 14 minutes to go in the game. UConn with the ball up by 10, 44-34 over DePaul. Demery has it off to the left, feeds Caravan head of the key. Now Malachi Smith off to the left. Top of the circle, Demery uses a screen, bounces right. He's at the elbow, spins inside the paint, gives to Caravan off to the left. He drives inside the paint, lost the ball, picks it up, floats on a runner, and it goes down.
Caravan leading all scorers now. He's got 17 in the game.
46-34 the score. UConn pulling away. 13 and a half minutes to go. Huskies on a 6-0 run. It's been nearly 4 minutes since the Demons last scored. Macklin top of the circle. Takes an inside pass, drives right, stops. He's double teamed, spins out of it, shot blocked from behind it, rolls out of bounds. I think Ryba knocked it out.
A little bit of confrontation between Ross there and Macklin. Macklin's been fired up in this game. They had those steals early in the first half there. The guy was going.
He's been the Demons' leader this season, the vocal leader. 13 to shoot when the Demons put him in play. Front court baseline left. Blocker feeds Flores left of the lane. Hands back to Blocker. 3-point range to the left. He steps back, 10 to shoot. Now dribbles to the free throw line. Hops up in the paint floor to the right hand. Rolls in. So that ends the scoring drought of 4+ minutes for DePaul. Demons down by 10. 13 minutes to go in the game. UConn 46. DePaul 36. Silas Demery Jr. has it between the circles for UConn. Bounce pass right wing behind the arc. It's Caravan working on Macklin. Shovel toss now. Malachi Smith head of the key. 15 to shoot for UConn. Off a curl, Caravan left of the lane. Hops up in the paint floor to the right hand. Back rim doesn't go, but you heard the whistle. A foul on the Demons. Caravan will shoot 2.
Yeah, they're going to call that a shooting foul. They got fouled as he penetrated into the lane there. So, again, they have a double-digit lead, 46-36. The number is 36 here is the issue. We've got to be able to find a way to put some points on the board, or we're just, by default, UConn's going to run away with this.
Caravan knocks down the free throw.
Demons only made 1 out of their last 7 shots.
One more free throw for Caravan. I believe the score is 47-36, but the scoreboard operator here at Wintrust Arena a little slow. 12:47 remaining in the game. Second free throw on the way for Caravan. That goes down. So it's now 48-36, 12-point advantage for the Huskies. Full court pressure by UConn. Far corner Blocker. Now the Huskies drop back as Blocker brings it up across the line, down the far sideline into the front court with a left-handed dribble. Gets a CJ Gunn screen, spins left. Now Gunn has it head of the key, travel.
Couldn't make up his mind there. Wanted to put the ball on the floor, but then looked for an open teammate and drug his pivot foot.
A sloppy game so far by CJ Gunn for a variety of reasons. 12 and a half minutes to go. Second half, UConn with the ball and a 12-point lead, 48-36 over DePaul. At the top of the key, Ross spins left side, gives to Caravan for 3. That's no good. Long rebound out to Blocker, and now we've got a loose ball foul. Late whistle, and it's on the Demons.
Layden Blocker picked up that foul going to the rebound. Demons with it's only their 4th team foul, 3rd team foul. I think they're going to change that to 4, but they were ahead of me.
All right, so UConn will trigger in. Front court, baseline left. Malachi Smith will put it in play. Loops a pass to Caravan. Ball knocked away. Stolen by McClure. It's loose at midcourt. McClure picks it up. Waits for a teammate. Now gives to R.J. Smith. Off to the left near the midcourt stripe. Flores, the big man, head of the key. Off to the right, Blocker behind the arc. Under 10 to shoot for the Blue Demons. Blocker fires up a three. No good. The shot clock was running down. It shouldn't have been. And now the rebound gets knocked out of bounds along the far sideline. Last touch by UConn. DePaul ball. Something shady happened there with the shot clock. But that's a big deal. You're playing at home. That can't happen because it fools the players. R.J. Smith will trigger in the front court along the far sideline. Smith holds the ball waist high, gives to McClure, three-point range to the left, hands off to Blocker at the head of the key. Blocker drives right, and he trapped. 11:57 to go, second half. Number 5, UConn leading DePaul 48-36. Official timeout. We'll keep it here. Follow the Blue Demons wherever you go. The official DePaul Blue Demons app features live and on-demand video content, in-game stats, score updates, the latest apparel, and more. Download the official DePaul Blue Demons app today at DePaulBlueDemons.com/app. The game's beginning to escape the Blue Demons. They need to find a way to make some plays to put points on the board. We talked about this with Chris Holtman prior to the start of today's ball game. The big issue against this really talented defensive force in UConn is you got to find a way to score. The Demons have had a difficult time doing that in the second half.
Well, what we haven't seen is any offense at all in transition, and the Demons rely a lot. They're not a great perimeter shooting team. A lot of their half-court offense comes out of one-on-one sets, obviously screen and rolls that everybody in the world is playing now. But when they're playing their best basketball, their best offense comes from their defense, and they can force some missed shots and get out and run. That's when the Demons are at their best, and when they're struggling offensively, that's the best way for them to get on track, is maybe get some easy baskets in transition off defensive stops. But UConn hasn't given them any opportunity to do that. DePaul 0 for 3 in the second half from the three-point line, so perimeter shooting isn't working for them, and they're not getting any transition, so they don't have a lot of bullets left in that gun.
And on the flip side, UConn shooting 55% from the field since halftime, 6 for 11, including 1 of 2 from three-point territory. Blue Demons were down by 3 after the first 20 minutes of play. UConn rallied from an 8-point deficit to take a 3-point halftime lead, 33-30. And since halftime, UConn has outscored DePaul 15-6. And the Huskies have their biggest lead of the game up by 12, 48-36 over the Demons, with 11:57 remaining in the second half. DePaul 3 of 12 from the floor here in half number 2. And as Dave mentioned, 0 for 3 from three-point territory. And to be fair, the Blue Demons aren't the only team that has struggled against UConn this season. One of the best defensive teams in the country, ranked top 15 in nearly every major defensive category. But in order to put up a fight, you got to be able to find a way to overcome that. And in the second half, the Blue Demons have been unable to do that.
Throw some punches. If you're they're not throwing any punches. They're playing defense pretty well, but they got to get on the other side of the floor.
5 on the floor for DePaul out of the timeout. Flores in the middle. And the Demons going with a 4-man backcourt of McClure, Blocker, R.J. Smith, and C.J. Gunn. The 4 guards are in the backcourt applying full court pressure. And as UConn's Alex Caravan will put it in play. Again, 11:57 to go, second half. Number 5, UConn 48, DePaul 36. Caravan holds the ball chest high, waits for a cutter, feeds Silas Demery Jr. under the basket. Now the Demons drop back. Demery across the line, right to left, down the far sideline with a left-handed dribble. Checked by Blocker in the half court. Caravan has it right wing behind the arc. Head of the key. It's Demery working on C.J. Gunn. Holds the ball by his right hip. Plays catch with Ryba. And now Demery has it off to the right. Throws it inside all alone. Ross, a two-handed stuff.
Out of the timeout, they executed well.
UConn with its biggest lead of the game up by 14. 50-36 over DePaul. Under 11 and a half minutes to go here at Wintrust Arena. Blocker's got it for the Demons at the top of the circle. Off to the right, McClure. Head of the key, the big man Flores. Gives to Smith between the circuits. Smith goes between the legs with the dribble. Feeds McClure left wing. 10 to shoot for DePaul. Head of the key, Flores. Holds the ball over his head. Feeds Blocker. Ball knocked away. Blocker retrieves it in the backcourt. 5 to shoot. Blocker straight down the lane. Hops up in the paint. Floater to the right hand. Back rim, no good. And the rebound is yanked down by Ross, who is fouled along the far sideline by Flores. 11:03 remaining, second half. UConn 50, DePaul 36. 14 foul on the Blue Demons. DePaul 1 for its last 9 from the field. The Demons on a scoring drought of 2+ minutes. Full court pressure by DePaul. UConn breaks it. Mullins straight down the lane. Lefty hook. Gets it to go.
That's his first bucket of the game for Mullins. He's freshman, all-American freshman, averaging almost 10 a game.
It's 52-36 UConn. Right of the lane. Flores has it for the Demons. Hop step in the paint. Gives to blocker driving right. And we've got a foul called on the Huskies. Ryba. Push blocker to the deck. 10:38 remaining. UConn 52, DePaul 36. It's a non-shooting foul, so the Demons will trigger in. Front court baseline right. UConn on a 6-0 run. It's been more than 2.5 minutes since DePaul last scored. Blocker to trigger in. Loops a pass. Right corner, R.J. Smith. At the right elbow now, it's Flores. Gives to blocker head of the key. 15 to shoot. Blocker drives left. Gives to Gunn behind the arc on the left wing. Blocker at the free throw line. Pull-up jump on the way. He got it. So that ends the scoring drought of more than 2.5 minutes for DePaul. UConn 52, DePaul 38. Approaching 10 minutes to go in the game. Huskies with the ball. Caravan has it off to the right. Three-point territory checked by blocker. Left-handed dribble by Caravan. He's at the top of the key. Now Mullins has it between the circles. Uses a Ryba screen and moves left. Penetrates. Angle cut off. Ryba up high. The 7-footer fakes the three. Gives to Demery at the free throw line. Hop step in the paint. Fall away jump shot on the way. The high arcer goes down. UConn 54, DePaul 38. Under 10 minutes remaining in the game.
Coach Holman encouraging them to run the ball, get down the floor. He's looking for early offense still, even after made baskets.
Gunn has it left wing, loops a pass left of the lane. Flores. And we've got a whistle, a foul called on UConn.
That's only the 4th team foul on UConn in the second half.
9:40 remaining, second half. UConn 54, DePaul 38. Mullins picks up his second personal. So the Demons will trigger in front court baseline left. R.J. Smith will put it in play for DePaul. Loops a pass up high to Banks, who's held by Caravan, and Caravan gets whistled for a foul.
His second personal foul.
So the Demons will put it in play again. Front court baseline left. R.J. Smith. I feel like we've said this a bunch. Will trigger in. Feeds McClure off to the left. Head of the key. It's Banks. Holds the ball by his right knee. Gives to Gunn between the rings. Gunn checked by Ross. Gunn hesitation dribble. Drives right. Pull up jump for the elbow. Back rim doesn't go. Rebound batted up in the air. Yanked down by Ryba for UConn. Into the hands of Demery. Across the line. Straight down the lane. Lost the ball. Taken away by Gunn. Demons with numbers. Gunn across the line. Lead feed McClure. He lost the ball. It's loose under the basket. Gunn picks it up. Kick out. Smith for three. Bullseye from the right side.
Hustle play in transition.
Coming up on 9 minutes to go in the game. UConn 54, DePaul 41. Huskies with the ball. And we've got a whistle. Was time called by UConn? Yep. 9:01 remaining in the second half. Fifth-ranked Huskies leading the Blue Demons 54-41. It can be challenging to take the time you need to take care of your own health and wellness. With Rush Physical Therapy, access to care is throughout the city. Whether you're going to work, school, or on the way home, you can get the care you need where you need it. Visit online at rushpt.com or find a center near you. The Blue Demons trust Rush. So can you.
Well, right now, let's see if the Demons can start making some of these shots. Trust their jump shot here. They can knock down some shots, and it's going to have to happen still with the defensive effort. Right now in the half, UConn shooting 9 out of 14, 64%. Demons only 5 out of 16, 31%. So those numbers they have to turn around, but those are just raw numbers. What the Demons need to do is get some stops and then run the ball down. They're not going to score enough points unless they can get some points in transition off of ideally defensive stops. But either way, they've got to get the ball down the floor after made baskets or defensive stops.
UConn ball, 9:01 remaining in the game. 54-41, the Husky lead, 25 to shoot for UConn. Left wing behind the arc, Demery uses a Caravan screen, spins to the big DePaul logo at center court. Feeds Caravan, left elbow, hop step in the paint, foul from behind by Gunn.
That's Gunn's fourth.
8:50 to go here in half number 2. 54-41 UConn. And Caravan will go to the line to shoot 2. They gave him the continuation. Here comes the first free throw. It's good. So it's now 55-41 UConn with 8:50 to go. Gunn with 4 personals. He remains in the game. One more free throw for Caravan. And that one's good. Give Caravan 21. Now Gunn sits as Layden Blocker re-enters.
Gunn with those 4 fouls.
Full court pressure by UConn as Banks triggers in. Feeds R.J. Smith under the basket. Now near sideline Blocker, who centers it and crosses the timeline left to right. Immediately greeted by Demery. Screen from Banks. Blocker moves left. Now feeds Banks head of the key. Holds the ball by his right hip. Gives to McClure behind the arc on the right wing. Benson head of the circle. Backing in and gives to Blocker left wing. He drives baseline. Lost the ball. It rolls out of bounds. It'll be UConn ball.
Off his knee as he's making a baseline drive.
8:28 to go.
It seems like it's slow.
Yeah, it's been sloppy. Demons struggling to put points on the board. They're down 56-41 here at home as we approach 8 minutes to go against number 5 UConn. Off to the left, it's Mullins. Hand to the face from McClure. Inside Reed. Left of the lane, mid-post. Working on Benson. Backs in, feeds Mullen left baseline. Diagonal pass off to the right. Caravan fakes a 3. 10 to shoot. Hop step in the paint. Kick out left corner. It's Demery for 3. That's no good. Offensive rebound, Reed. Lefty putback goes down.
2 UConn guys on the offensive board there. Nobody blocking out.
UConn goes up 58-41. Blocker drives left. Hangs in the air. Righty floater won't go. Rebound, Stewart, and UConn on the move. Outlet Caravan across the line. Down the left sideline. Whips a pass inside. Off the hands of Reed. Out of bounds under the basket. Demons catch a break. They'll get the ball back after this official timeout. 7:44 to go. Second half. Demons need a big rally. UConn 58, DePaul 41.
Interesting to watch Dan Hurley here as Caravan threw the ball to Reed. The ball went off Reed's hands on that transition. Caravan tried to throw up in front to Terrence Reed, and it went off his hands out of bounds immediately. Coach Hurley comes out and walks up to Caravan, and they have a conversation, both of them laughing. You know exactly what they're talking about. He's telling them, why would you throw the ball to the big guy, Terrence Reed, in transition on a fast break? And then Terrence Reed came back into that little conversation. The 3 of them all had a good chuckle off the fact that Terrence Reed was out leading the transition, and the Caravan should not have been looking for him on that break.
Hey, Blue Demon fans, when the action heats up on the court, cool down with Pepsi Zero Sugar. It's bold, refreshing, and built for game day energy because basketball deserves Pepsi, proud partner of DePaul Athletics. Alongside DePaul great Dave Corzine, Zach Zaidman courtside here at Wintrust Arena. Blue Demons in danger of falling to 0-2 in Big East play. Number 5, UConn 58, DePaul 41. 7:44 to go in the second half. Demons were down by 3 at halftime. Since then, UConn has outscored DePaul 25-11. UConn shooting 63% from the field since halftime. The Blue Demons 29% here in the second half.
You said it, Zach. That's exactly what the situation is, and the Demons haven't been able to continue to play as competitively as they did in the first. That was a great first half against the number 5 team in the country. When you're only down by 3 at the half, people were optimistic about playing a good second half. The Demons are still playing hard, but ultimately the odds stacked up against you when you're playing teams like UConn that just have an abundance of talent on that team, and well coached again by Dan Hurley. Our team well coached by Coach Holtman, 3-time national or 3-time conference coach of the year. So both teams well coached, but UConn has a recent championship kind of pedigree that you see them playing games like this that they play so under control.
Blue Demons choose chill. Coors Light is cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of DePaul Athletics So crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Please celebrate responsibly. Zach Zidman, Dave Corzine with you. 7:44 remaining here in the second half at Wintrust Arena. Number 5, UConn leading DePaul 58-41. The Demons send out Smith, Macklin, and McClure. Form a 3-man backcourt out of the timeout. Up front, N.J. Benson and Kayla Banks.
This would be the game to win the 50-50 raffle, don't you figure?
There's never a bad time to actually
win the 50. Yeah, never a bad time, but I think this would be the game you want to get lucky.
Yeah, nearly a packed house here at Wintrust Arena for this big matchup against number 5 UConn. Demons basketball. R.J. Smith brings it up across the line, left to right. Off to the right, it's Benson behind the arc. Holds the ball by his left hip. Gives to Macklin, head of the key. Now left of the circle, McClure. Right side, Macklin in three-point territory. He drives, angle cut off by Malachi Smith. Now Macklin crossover dribble at the free throw line. Hop step left of the lane. Hangs in the air, layup. No. Fight for the rebound. Macklin's got it. Layup. Banks it in on the foul. Power move inside. Brandon Macklin's going to the line to try and complete a three-point play.
Running at 4 points to that point in the game. He's playing with that injured shoulder, but talked about the energy he brought to the game early in the first half. Came up with those 4 steals when he entered the game and really made a huge impact in that game. Again, here he is playing hard. That time it was second, third effort. He finally got that bucket to go down.
Mullins picks up his third personal. So Macklin at the line to try and complete this three-point play. Bends the knee, snaps the right wrist, and puts home the free throw. 7:21 to go here in the second half. UConn 58, DePaul 44. Kayla Banks sits.
CJ Gunn with the 4 fouls coming back in.
You need him. So clearly Chris Holtman is saying this is where the Demons have to make their move. Jalen Stewart across the line for UConn. Off to the right. Stewart now at the head of the key. Gives to Malachi Smith near the midcourt stripe straight away on the big DePaul logo at center court. Off to the right, it's Demery. Working on R.J. Smith, 15 to shoot for UConn. Left-handed dribble for Smith, spins to the top of the key. Now at the free throw line, drives right, hangs in the air, wild left, banks it home. Tough shot by Silas Demery Jr. And then he flexes his biceps as he goes down the floor. R.J. Smith into the front court for the Blue Demons, off to the right. Head of the key, it's the big man Benson. 6:45 remaining in the game. Macklin drives left, whirls right, hook shot right hand, no good, but he got fouled on the play. Brandon Macklin going to the line to shoot 2. It's UConn 60, DePaul 44 with 6:42 remaining in the game.
Brandon Macklin kind of taking it on his back right here to be the offensive catalyst for this Demons team here to keep him in this game. The second time now he's taken into the basket and gotten fouled.
Macklin puts up the free throw. Back rim doesn't go. Demons have been awful at the free throw line today. Now 7 of 14. 50% shooting. One more free throw for Macklin. Transfer from Radford, a senior from Jackson, Tennessee. He knocks it down. Demons down 15 with 6:42 to go at home against number 5 UConn. Full court pressure by the Demons. Far sideline, Demery. Now he centers it. Working against R.J. Smith, who's hounding him. Demery crosses the timeline, immediately double teamed by Macklin. Off to the left, Malachi Smith beats Caravan left of the lane, hangs in the air, layup. No! One-handed rebound for Macklin. He's doing it all. Macklin across the line, left to right. Off to the right in three-point range, fakes a 3, drives straight down the lane, hangs in the air, lost the ball, picks it up, left of the lane, kick out, Smith, for 3! Rims out from the left side, offensive rebound, N.J. Benson, up fake, layup, shot, block, rolls out of bounds, last touch by the Blue Demons. It'll be UConn ball.
Well, you can't blame the Demons for hustling there. They were all over that play. UConn did a great job of getting a hand on the ball, knocking it loose.
6:11 remaining in the game. UConn 60, DePaul 45. Substitution for DePaul. Layden Blocker re-enters. Cruz McClure sits. Demons will apply full court pressure. Alex Caravan to trigger in. Far sideline, Malachi Smith. He centers it, working against Blocker in the backcourt. Now along the far sideline, it's Demery. Crosses the timeline, trapped in the corner. Pass knocked out of bounds by CJ Gunn. It'll be UConn ball. Demons with active hands. 6:02 remaining. UConn 60, DePaul 45. 21 to shoot when the Huskies put it in play. In the front court along the far sideline, Jalen Stewart will trigger in. Holds the ball chest high, throws it into the backcourt. Demery's got it. The Georgia transfer walks it up across the line, right to left. Demery blitz by a double team at center court. Gives to Stewart off to the right. Kick out Caravan left corner. Diagonal pass up high to Demery. 10 to shoot for UConn. Demery works out of a double team. Hangs in the air. Full away jump shot. Blocked by Gunn. Ball loose in the far corner. It rolls out of bounds. Who touched it last? I missed the sign by the official. I was screened, the 7-2 center, Fabian Flores. Fabian Flores, the 7-2 center, about to check into the game, was in front of my face. Dave, it's tough for me to see over a 7-footer. Flores re-enters. Benson sits. 2 to shoot. It'll be UConn ball in the front court. And Demery will trigger in along the near corner. Throws it underneath, all alone, reverse left. Stewart missed the body. Demons get lucky. They get the rebound. Macklin across the line, down the far sideline, into the front court. Smith now off to the right in three-point territory. Holds the ball waist high. Flips it to Flores, head of the circle. Flores has the ball knocked away. Retrieves. Right wing. Now Smith has it between the circles. Throws it left side for Blocker. 10 to shoot for DePaul. Smith blitz by double team at the head of the key. Spins out of it. Gives to Gunn off to the right. Gunn looks at the shot clock. Crossover dribble. Working on Caravan. Fall away 2 is good from the right side. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the game. UConn 60, DePaul 47. Oh, we've got a foul called on R.J. Smith as Demery crossed the timeline.
Is it R.J. Smith? I think it was Macklin. That's his 5th. Macklin's out.
So that'll give DePaul almost an extra timeout. You get 30 seconds to make a substitution when a player has fouled out. Macklin fouls out after scoring 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds and 4 steals. And Cruz McClure will re-enter the game. 5:04 remaining in the second half. UConn 60, DePaul 47. Man, Macklin played such a big role, a spark plug for the Blue Demons here today. What can you do in 5 minutes? Let's see what the Demons can come up with.
Unfortunately, they're playing one of the top teams in the country, but plenty of time left.
5th-ranked UConn will trigger in. Jaden Ross will put it in play in the front court along the near sideline. Throws it to Demery in the backcourt. Right to left, he crosses the timeline, immediately checked by Block. Demery uses a screen from Caravan, rolls right, uses another screen, and
there goes
fouled by C.J. Gunn.
That's
and
his
Gunn
5th.
is fouled out. Not quite sure what C.J. Gunn was thinking there.
Trying to get over the top of that screen. Didn't work out for him.
4:54 to go. Demons without Gunn and Macklin the rest of the way. UConn 60, DePaul 47.
Free throws being shot here also now. Demons in the bonus.
So now the 5 on the floor. Smith, Blocker, McClure, Banks, and Flores for the Demons. As Demery goes to the line, UConn on a scoring drought of 2+ minutes. A 1-1 for Demery. Native of Raleigh, North Carolina, bends the knees. He snaps the right wrist and misses the free throw. Rebound, Flores. Here come the Demons. Left to right across the line, Smith. McClure has it right corner. Holds the ball by his left hip. Roams baseline. He's fouled by Demery.
Go to the line. Stopping the clock is critical at this point.
Demons have to knock down some free throws, Dave. They're 8 of 15 at the
that's
stripe
critical
today.
Also.
Well, McClure's done a nice job. 4 of 4 at the stripe today.
2 for 5 in the second half here. So, yeah, Cruz McClure's been our free throw shooter. He's the man they have. The freshman had some big closing games you talked about earlier. Zach, he says his biggest games against some of the best teams.
Puts up the first, knocks it down. He'll get one more. McClure, the leading scorer for the Blue Demons today with 10 points. 4:47 to go in the game. UConn 60, DePaul 48. It's a manageable deficit. UConn's gone on a scoring drought of 2+ minutes. The second free throw, no good by McClure. And Reed pulls down the rebound for the Huskies. Into the hands of Demery across the line for UConn down the far sideline. Blows by Blocker, and he's fouled. So UConn will go to the free throw line. The scoring drought approaching 2 minutes and 20 seconds for the Huskies. Demery back at the stripe, 11 points. He's 4 of 5 at the free throw line. Silas Demery Jr., preseason All-Big East second team, a transfer from Georgia in his first season with the Huskies.
It was Leighton Blocker's 4th foul now. Remember, we've lost Macklin and C.J. Gunn already.
Demery puts up the first free throw, puts it in. He'll get one more. It's a 61-48 lead for UConn, 4:38 remaining. It ends a scoring drought of 2 minutes and 19 seconds for the Huskies. One more free throw for Silas Demery Jr. Takes a deep breath, couple of dribbles, eyes the rim, bends the knees, snaps the right wrist, and puts home the second free throw. 62-48 the score. UConn with the lead. Approaching 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Layden Blocker, left to right across the line for the Blue Demons, wearing a white headband, glasses, clear rims. Uses a screen from Banks, hesitation dribble, drives left, he's under the basket. Kick out to R.J. Smith, right of the circle, uses a Flores screen, spins to the top of the key, now bounces right. In his grill, Mullins. Left wing behind the arc, Banks shakes the shoulders, drives inside the paint, accelerates, hangs in the air, right up, counted and one! And Caleb Banks taking it all the way to the hole. He'll go to the line and try and complete a three-point play. Demons down by 12 with 4:15 to go here at home against number 5 UConn.
Yeah, and you're talking about that 4:15 to go, Zach. That's what's important about stopping the clock now. UConn picking up a couple fouls here the last couple possessions. Anytime we can stop that clock, it's in to our benefit.
Another missed free throw, offensive rebound, Flores, and he's fouled.
And he's going to go to the line now. This UConn fouling is working out well for us.
Yeah, but the Demons unable to connect at the stripe. They're 9 of 18. 9 of 18 at the free throw line today. That's 50% shooting.
They've had good days and bad days at the line. It seems contagious.
Flores, usually an excellent free throw shooter. He's 0 of 1 at the line today and misses that one. At the front of the rim, did not go in. And they will not get a second as Demery comes up with a rebound for the Huskies. 4 minutes to go, second half. Bounce pass, Caravan, left wing three. In and out. Rebound, Flores. Into the hands of Blocker. Left to right across the line straight away. Now he penetrates straight down the lane. Scoop left to left hand. Oh, he banked it home. Timeout DePaul. Demons down by 10. 3:53 to go here in the second half. The Demons are making a push. 62-52, the UConn lead.
Well, you got to figure this is as good as you can be. It could be better, obviously, but this is a chance to win this when you're down by 10 only with 4 minutes to go almost. You have plenty of time. You've played 36 minutes of basketball competitively with the number 5 team in the country. Let's see if we can close it out and get back in this.
Blue Demon fans, want your shot at a big win? Enter the DePaul Blue Demons 50-50 raffle. Each ticket gives you a chance to win half the jackpot, with the other half supporting DePaul student athletes. Whether you're at the game or cheering from home, you can enter anytime at DePaulBlueDemons.com/raffle. That's DePaulBlueDemons.com/raffle. Get in the game, support the Blue Demons, and maybe take home the prize. Must be 18 years or older and located within the state of Illinois at the time of purchase. See official rules at DePaulBlueDemons.com/raffle. The Demons are 3 for their last 3 from the field. They were down by as many as 14 points just a few moments ago. Now trailed by 10 at home to number 5 UConn. 62-52 the score with 3:53 to go in the game. Zach Zaidman, Dave Corzine with you courtside at Wintrust Arena. UConn led by as many as 17 points earlier in this second half. Demons were up by as many as 8 in the first half, down by 3 at halftime. And here in the second half, UConn has held DePaul to just 38% shooting from the field, including 1 of 5 from three-point territory, while UConn is shooting a red-hot 52% from the floor since halftime.
Yes, but no field goals for UConn in the last 3 minutes and 4 seconds. They missed their last 4 shots, which has allowed DePaul to cut it again to a 10-point game. You can't fault the Blue Demon defense. 62 points for a UConn team that's averaging 79 points a game. And I'll talk about it again. Not against cupcakes in this pre-conference schedule. They played 5 top 20 teams. They've had a really tough pre-conference schedule. And still, they're a team that averages almost 80 points a game. You got to give the Demons a lot of credit. 3:53 to go, and UConn being held to only 62 points, which has allowed the Demons to stay within striking distance here, even though they've been unable to really get their offense on track, which is something that is a problem for most teams that playing this UConn Husky team. It's tough to get your offense on track, but Demons have given themselves a chance to win this game, and they're down only by 10 with 3:53 to go. So we've seen more crazier things happen.
Layden Blocker is the high man with 11 points for DePaul. Cruz McClure, the freshman, with 10 for the Blue Demons, who will go the final 3:53 without both C.J. Gunn and Brandon Macklin. Both have fouled out of the game, so the Blue Demons shorthanded from that standpoint. UConn missing its leading scorer this season, Solo Ball, not playing today with a wrist injury. He averages more than 15 points per game for the Huskies. The Demons send out a five-man group of R.J. Smith, Cruz McClure, Layden Blocker, Fabian Flores, and Caleb Banks. UConn ball. Huskies have to go the full length of the floor. Demons will apply full court pressure. 4 Demons in the backcourt, shaped like a diamond. Underneath the basket, it's Demery, working on R.J. Smith straight away. Smith in his grill. Demery works to the far sideline, crosses the line off to the right, whirls to the top of the key with a left-handed dribble. 3:40 remaining in the game. UConn with a 10-point lead over DePaul. Terrace read right of the circle. Caravan has it head of the key, drives left, stops mid-post, 10 to shoot. Up high, Mullins, back to Caravan, left of the circle, whips a pass inside, left of the lane, it's Reed. Kick out, Demery, extra pass, Caravan for 3. His top key 3 doesn't go. Skying for the rebound, Flores, and has the ball taken away by Mullins. UConn ball, pass to the free throw line. Demery's got it, 15 to shoot. Now Demery backs it out near the midcourt stripe off to the left. Uses a screen, he's at the top of the key. Checked by Smith for DePaul. Left elbow, Caravan, 5 to shoot. Backs it out into the three-point territory. Bounce pass left of the lane, Reed, 2 to shoot. Turnaround hook with the right hand. Oh, he banks it home with the shot clock running down. A killer shot.
Not on purpose. He didn't bank that on purpose.
UConn 64, DePaul 52. 2:50 remaining in the game. Demons with the basketball. Flores, top of the circle, checked by Reed. Holds the ball over his head, feeds Smith between the circles. Smith uses a screen, whips a pass inside. Flores, layup, missed the bunny with the right hand. UConn basketball. 2:35 to go. Huskies 64, Blue Demons 52. Off to the left, Caravan fakes a 3. Left corner, Mullins will pop, and he drains a tray.
That's a nail.
67-52, UConn on top. Approaching 2 minutes to go. That may have been the dagger. Smith has it between the circles for the Blue Demons. Off to the left now, Banks holds the ball waist high. Puts it on the floor, working on Caravan. Steps back. Now drives inside the paint. Fall away jump shot. Back rim doesn't go. Tough shot with Caravan in his grill. UConn comes up with the board under 2 minutes remaining. Huskies 67, Blue Demons 52. Demery across the line straight away near the midcourt stripe. UConn in no rush. Caravan has it off to the left. Banks pokes the ball away. Caravan picks it up near the midcourt stripe. Feeds Reed head of the key. 10 to shoot for UConn. Reed in no rush. Mullins has it. Right circle 3 is good.
Freshman stepping up, knocking down a couple big shots here to close this game out.
Braylon Mullins with a couple of huge trays. 70-52 the score. UConn with the lead. McClure has the ball poked away out of bounds from behind along the near side. They say last touch by McClure. It'll be UConn ball.
Shouldn't be a situation here now that look at Reed. What's he doing here? Is he motioning to the crowd, or what is
No, the crowd is getting excited because Alec Millender, a graduate transfer from IU Indy, native of Glenwood, is in the game. Played his high school ball at St. Rita, so you hear his
That's
friends
where
and
his
family.
cheering section is.
Yep. And Millender has the ball for UConn. He'll bring it up right to left across the timeline. Coming up on a minute to go. All Huskies 70-52 over the Blue Demons. Off to the left, Malachi Smith checked by Miljasevic of the Blue Demons. Smith head of the key. Off to the right now. It's Mullins for 3. That's no good. Long rebound out to Layden Blocker. 1 minute remaining in the game. Blocker straight down the lane. Lefty layup high up the glass. No good. Put back slam. Won't go by Benson. A lot of contact. They're letting him play. Ball loose at midcourt. Picked up by Malachi Smith for UConn. 50 seconds to go. Huskies up big, 70-52 over the Blue Demons. Malachi Smith off to the right. Off to the left, Mullins. Wide open, corner 3.
Stepping on the sideline again.
All right, so a turnover.
He knocked down that 3, too. So, not that it makes any difference at this point, but got lucky to prevent that last 3-pointer.
Jacob Furphy checks in, a 6'6 freshman from Tasmania. I'll give you a 20 right now if you can tell me where Tasmania is located. It's an island state, 150 miles south of the Australian mainland. Best known for being the home of the Tasmanian Devil. 37 seconds to go. DePaul ball. R.J. Smith drives. Pull up, jump off glass. Left of the lane, no good, but he got fouled on the play. And that means that R.J. Smith will go to the line for 2.
Lander picked up that foul. Really, if you're UConn right now, there's really no point in fouling.
Millender picks up the foul. Demons on a scoring drought of nearly 3.5 minutes as Smith knocks down the free throw and ends that drought. UConn 70, DePaul 53, 33.1 seconds remaining. One more free throw for R.J. Smith. Here it comes. It's good.
Puts the Demons over 50% free throw shooting for the game, 11 out of 21.
28
That's something
seconds.
to be proud of.
28 seconds remaining. UConn 70, DePaul 54. Huskies with the ball. Millender ahead of the key, drives to the free throw line, accelerates right side, and banks home a layup high off the glass. And the UConn fans.
UConn bench. Look at the UConn bench egging the fans on.
Yeah, he's home. 3 on the way, no good by Blocker from the left side. And UConn comes up with the board. Shot clock off, 6 seconds to go. And this one is a wrap. Demons fall to 0-2 in Big East play as the 5th-ranked UConn Huskies beat DePaul 72-54.
They gave them a battle for a large portion of the game. We went into halftime there. We're only 3 points down, feeling pretty good about the way we had played and hoping that we would be able to play that caliber of basketball again in the second half. But the quality of this UConn team, just too much for the Blue Demons. And Demons played, they fought hard, but 54 points. You're playing one of the top defensive teams in the country. They hold you to 54 points. It's not going to be easy to win. But they gave them a battle. They pulled away steadily in the second half. Didn't really get a big run on us. Didn't really bury us at any point. Just solid basketball by one of the top teams in the country. And they're outscored us 39-24 in the second half to just kind of methodically put this game away.